This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. Right now on JList.com, they have all new video game titles from Just USA on sale. They have Sweet Home, My Sexy Roommates, Princess X, My Fiancé is a Monster Girl, AU Senki World Conquest, and over 20 other additional brand new games from JList's partners, all up to 75% off the original price, which is about as cheap as you can get a game without it being free, I think. So head over to JList.com if you're looking to pick up another anime-based video game for your PC, and you'll be supporting the podcast as well. And now, let's start the show.
Yahoo! みんな、アニメアディクツアノニマスのライブブロードキャスト聞かないと泣いちゃうよ。You are listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, and welcome to the 423rd episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. I am your host, Mitsugi, and wherever you're listening from, thank you for tuning in to join us today. It is a pleasure to have all of you joining us live and at home also. Today I am joined by two of my very, very good friends. We have in New York City, he's not quite feeling the most Genki today, but he's looking very handsome in his pajamas lying in his bed. And we did snuggle earlier this afternoon. His name is Enzo.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I will say that there are various healing qualities to Mitsugi's arms being around you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because of his amazing hold that I'm here today with enough Genki to continue the podcast.
Enzo.
Yes.
Quiero desnudarte a besos.
All right, who do we have?
And hailing from Cincinnati, we have a woman who literally turned her car into a yellow slip and slide of pollen. Her name is Mandy.
You should have left it in Cincinnati. We have a woman. All right, let's go.
Oh my God. I could never do that to you. How are you today?
Hey guys, I'm doing okay. I am also super stuffy as my allergies are awful.
I am feeling incredible, actually, for someone who got probably 3 hours of sleep. I am somehow rolling, so I am not on crack. I swear.
Carry me on this podcast.
I will carry you with my big strong arms. So,
yes, please.
You can find us on our website, www.AAAPodcast.com. If you go to AAAPodcast.com/join, you can sign up on our website to receive, I think we're up to around 400 and, I'm just going to guess, 445 extra exclusive podcast episodes that no one else gets to hear except you. We have our hobby addicts. We just talked about Deadpool 2, so you're going to want to hear that.
Yeah.
We're going to be recording a brand new hentai episode after this podcast today, and of course we also have our after parties where you really have no idea what will happen. When you go to, it's always random.
Neither do we.
It's so random.
We truly don't.
So
it's wherever the conversation takes us. Oh. And also on the top bar of the website, you can find buttons to our Discord. So, and if you want to send Kazuo a message, since he's not here to entertain you today, you could torment his soul by asking him where the button to the Discord is. That's on the website. Just ask him.
Be polite about it too. Like just be like, hey Kazuo, listen, I enjoy you on the podcast. Yeah. You're like my second favorite host after Enzo.
Yeah.
Can you let me know where the Discord button is, please?
He will lose his shit, and that would be hilarious.
He'll be so happy.
And also just send him messages to make sure he's still alive.
Yeah, because he does not answer texts, ever.
Yeah, he's really bad at it.
Okay, and of course, you can also find us on our Facebook, on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/AAAPodcast. So you can go over there and join all the fun with everybody else. But really, you should be on the Discord, because that's the hottest area right now for everybody.
Yeah, it's fun.
For sure. On the podcast today, we are going to be doing a topic that was suggested in our topic suggestion section on that very Discord by Peter Wright AA, the new Holy Trinity of bad anime. So I think he was like, the old Holy Trinity of bad anime was like Mad Bull and MD Geist and something else. And he wanted to know what the new Holy Trinity would be. What was the other anime that he hated?
Is it Angel Cop, I think?
Oh, it's on the
Angel
document.
Cop. Yeah, that's
Angel
on the
Cop.
list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would also put Garzy's Wing in there because that shit is unwatchable, honestly. But and of course we're also going to be doing a review on Devilman Crybaby. So, thus the lovely thumbnail made by Mandy. So
Yeah.
Devilman Crybaby, of course, a Netflix exclusive. So head over there and head to the Discord, talk to us, and then I hope you enjoy the show. Also, one more quick note before we get rolling. If you go to our website, once again, AAAPodcast.com, there is a banner in the middle of the page where you can vote for the Spring 2018 Listener Choice. A lot of people have already voted, but if you haven't done it yet, it'll be there for 2 weeks or so. So you can cast your vote and have a say in what the 9th anime is that we will be reviewing from the current season. And Lord knows, there are plenty of amazing shows there that we unfortunately had to let go of.
Yeah.
So the Captain Tsubasas and good Lord, I feel like there's like a lot of good Persona 5. There's a ton of shows that just didn't make the cut. So you can bring one of those back. All right. So anybody have anything else before we just dive right into this beast?
No,
Nope, I'm ready.
Let's do a damn dive right now.
Let's do a dive.
Are you feeling spry enough to dive today, Enzo?
I'm faking it till I'm making it, baby.
All right, just like real life. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
All right, my lovely friends. While I was watching Deadpool, I noticed something quite remarkable. There was a banner in my movie theater that had all these Ghibli movies on it, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Oh yeah, ours does too.
There you go. I guess it's not just, well, that's even better. So it's nationwide. Fathom Events right now is doing a huge slate of Ghibli movies in theaters, and a lot of these have never come to theaters that I know of in my lifetime, and you should jump on these if you can. We're a little late mentioning this. Ponyo, The Cat Returns, and Porco Rosso have already aired. Those are done already. But there are 6 more Ghibli movies that you could watch on the big screen how they were intended, and those are Pompoko. Maybe we should just take turns. Who wants to start with this list? Because I've been talking.
Yeah. So the ones that haven't been in theaters yet are Pompoko, Prince Mononoke, Grave of the Fireflies, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, and Castle in the Sky. And to me, I don't know which ones you guys think are highlights here, but I think with the context of Takehata passing away recently, you gotta go see Grave of the Fireflies in theaters. I think that's a.
I think I'll cry quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm like kind of tearing up as I'm thinking about me sitting there watching that in theaters, knowing that he just passed. That's gonna be emotional as hell. But I think it'd be really nice to go see that in a theater with other people that are also there to watch the movie.
Yeah, it's really kind of. Oh, sorry. It's actually really kind of interesting because the movie theater close to me. I went with my excuse me. I went with my sister. Late last year we saw something in theaters and they were doing this, but it's weird that they did this for us last year. It was the exact same titles, like in the exact same order.
So this isn't the first time?
We had just missed Spirited Away. Yeah, it's weird.
I also think that in New York it's not Fathom, but some company finds a way to do this once a year in New York also at like a random theater. On West 4th Street, like no like big major theater does it, but like small theaters will have like Ghibli Fest almost every summer.
This isn't a major theater for me. It's in Cincinnati called Cinemark.
Cinemark.
I mean, I went to a Regal, so I think the Regals are pretty big theaters, and they're doing it there too. For me, the highlights Grave of the Fireflies. I'm going to cry. As soon as they play the theme song, I'm going to cry.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I want to lose my shit for sure.
My Neighbor Totoro is definitely a highlight for me. And, I mean, so many of these are like Spirited Away is such a visual feast. I feel like it's best suited for theater.
I'd love to see that in theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it in theaters before. It's awesome.
I haven't. I would love that.
I really wish they were bringing Nausicaa for this because I have yet to see Nausicaa in theaters, and I am dying to watch Nausicaa on the silver screen.
It makes you wonder. I think that they picked them. I know for sure they picked the ones that were dubbed because a lot of these are dubbed.
That makes sense.
Ponyo's dubbed. The Cat Returns is dubbed. Porco Rosso's dubbed.
Is Nausicaa not dubbed?
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
It is. There's somebody really famous in it.
It is, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Disney did them all, I think, and they all have somebody of note in each movie. So I know that like the oh crap, one of the sisters of some famous person plays Ponyo in the Ponyo movie.
Ponyo.
Yeah, I think Patrick Stewart was in it.
Whoa.
Okay.
In Nausicaa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Now
that's cool.
I'm looking up to make sure I'm correct, but I thought he was.
I think we should know that these are only coming one weekend per month, so if you blink, you'll miss it. So make sure you keep track of it.
It's game time, guys. If you guys want to participate in this, look it up at fathomevents.com.
Yep.
You can find your way to the Ghibli Fest section of the website and just look up what weekend and what city near you, and just go support these movies, man. Like, especially if Fathom's doing it, if they make money off this, then we get more anime stuff coming in the next few years.
That's true.
So it's bigger than you to go support this.
The next one is Pompoko. It starts on June 17th. So
Soon.
It's an odd choice though. Pompoko is a good movie, but it's it's not what I would expect. It wouldn't be one of the ones I would assume would be like at the front of the list, you know?
Totally.
So
yeah, but the back half of this list is so stacked.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
true.
after Pompoko, Mononoke, Grave, Totoro, Spirited Away, and Castle in the Sky. Are you kidding?
Howl's Moving
That's
Castle is
loaded.
another list. I'm kind of sad.
I saw Howl's last year in theaters, and that was amazing.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing.
I've seen Ponyo in theater, and I have seen the Kadigurashi no Ariete in theaters, and that movie was really good. It was well suited for theaters, so that was pleasant. So yeah, so that's just a little plug, or like I feel like this is like a weekly thing for us where we talk about Ghibli, but I want people to know about it.
Yeah, no, it's a good push. Like, the more Western money gets put in under the category of anime, the better for everybody that likes anime, guys. That's how this works. So if you have the extra change to spare and the extra time, just go watch one of them. Just one or two. Just go watch them. They're all better in theaters. You don't even know.
Oh, they're amazing.
So good.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double.
Shut up! You haven't had one useful thing to say since you got here.
All right, so this week was a little anemic on anime news. I struggled.
Yeah.
But Sony has announced, their CEO announced that the PlayStation 4 is entering the final phase of the life cycle for
That's
the
so
system.
crazy.
Really? I mean, it's only been out 5 years. Now,
Didn't the Pro just come out last year? Am I wrong about that?
It did come out fairly recently, and I always thought the life cycle for a system was 10 years.
Like 10 at least, right?
Now maybe
Technology's moving really fast.
it is, except battery technology still sucks. So I don't know. Maybe the last phase is 5 years, but I don't know exactly. Sony president and CEO John Kodera revealed that the PlayStation 4 is entering the final phase of its life cycle, and he added that the recurring revenue from user subscription services are going to help to slow down the loss of sales of the console. But I don't know that the PlayStation 4 sales are really slowing down. I mean, it seems...
No, they're probably plateauing at a nice rate, you know?
Yeah. So... here's my general thought here, right? And here's my pie in the sky hopes and dreams, because I am a Sony fanboy. I only play games on my PlayStation. Sony announced already what they're going to talk about at E3, which I think was kind of weird. It was like there were like 5 games, and that was all they said, and which doesn't seem like a lot of content for E3. Like, how are you going to fill out a 90-minute press conference with 5 games?
Right.
You know what I've noticed? I think companies are starting to care less and less about E3. Like, Nintendo hardly has anything for E3 anymore.
Yeah, they don't. But I feel, but last year, but like Sony in recent years has had like a live orchestra, like.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, is it possible that Sony is making room for a big announcement that might be related to PlayStation 5?
Well,
or is that too much to ask for?
You know what they haven't done in a long time is a handheld, dude.
Oh, but they suck at handhelds.
Yeah, but the Vita's still actually selling. Like they still make games for it in Japan.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So like, okay, because here's what I would find disrespectful. I would think it'd be disrespectful of them to launch an entirely new console right now. Because yes, it's been 5 years, and you can argue that's like a lot of time for one piece of technology. Like the money you spent on your PS4 over 5 years is like not significant. But like, it's only been 5 years, you know, like compared to what the PS2 gave us, a long time of like, I got this one console one time and we're on it for a long time. They would have to justify it super well for me to be like, oh, fuck you guys for bringing out a new console. I just got my PS4 last year.
What if they were? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say the problem is technology is moving too fast because they have to keep up with PCs, and new PC technology keeps coming out. They have to keep up with that because otherwise they fall behind. And then when they have to port games from PC to PS4 or PS4 to PC, there's too much of a big jump there.
Yeah, you become Nintendo.
Yeah, so they have to keep catching up.
True. Good point.
But
I was thinking about the PS4 as like a standalone thing. You're right. The PC is still ahead.
I mean, so there's two things there. One, the cost of a PlayStation compared to having to continually upgrade a PC, I don't think is that bad. You're likely going to get the new system for like $350, which is a lot for some people. But like you're talking about like a major PC upgrade, Mandy, like a new video card is gonna. I mean, my brother and I just bought a ton of video cards to do crypto mining, and I know they run around 500 a pop, or they can 500.
Yeah,
a pop.
The really good ones are like $500. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I spent 500 something on mine, but that was like 3-4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and it's still like keeping up with games today. So. I mean, it's not really that much different than buying a system to me. so there's one thing. Sony might not view it as being such an affront against the consumer, but Enzo, what if they were like, here are details, here are enough details about the PS5 to get you excited, but it is not going to come out until 2020. How would that make you feel? 2020. How would that make you feel? That would give the PS4 7 years.
Okay, so I think and this is coming from someone. This context on myself because I think that's important. I love my PS4, but I love my PC way more. So like I'm not like super. What Sony doesn't really always like super make me feel anything because like I'm just like okay, that's cool, Sony, good job. But I think if they announce a new console for 2020, as long as they still have pretty good content for the PS4 up until then, I wouldn't be that against it. I'd be like, okay, cool. You're giving us a taste of the future, but you're also caring about us right now, and that's okay. So I think that's good. That'd be fine. I think. I
want them to do it, but I don't think they will, and here's why. The PlayStation 4 is crushing everybody else in terms of consoles. They're at a 59% market share for the life cycle of the generation. And for this year, even though the Switch has been doing really well, it's still quite far ahead of the Switch, with a 48% market share compared to only 35% for the Switch. If Sony announces a PS5, I think it's gonna to do bad. It's gonna a portion of the PlayStation 4 sales that would happen will not happen because people will hold off. And I don't think they want to. I think they're enjoying too much success right now to hinder themselves like that. I don't see them doing it, but oh my god, I want it. I want them to. Especially
if people just bought PS4 Pros, I can't imagine them getting up and buying a new system right now.
Yeah, and that's me. I just bought a PlayStation 4 Pro like a year ago.
I just got my PS4 when we got back from Japan, so it's only been a year for me too.
Yeah. So I'm not going to gush about Sony for too much longer, but can I just say one thing is that this is the 4th console for Sony, and every console has sold or is on pace to sell 100 million units. That is amazing.
That's a lot, dude.
You're talking about Nintendo's only had one console ever sell 100 million units ever, and they've had like 4 times as many. So
well, Sony's been like extremely good as a company to be like, yo, here's everything you love about us, but better every time. So like, I like that people. I like that they've managed to keep their customer base happy. That's so important. So I'm not surprised they sell that much every time they get a new console out. I feel like my gut tell me they're gonna announce a handheld. I don't know.
Well, that would be cool because the PS Vita. I think they did announce that they were going to stop selling. They were going to stop manufacturing parts for the Vita. So.
Oh yeah, I think I heard somewhere that they're going to stop selling physical copies. Like they're still going to support download copies of games, but they're going to stop making physical copies because there's still a lot of Japanese game developers bringing out stuff on the Vita, especially visual novels. If you like visual novels, the Vita is the system to get. Yeah, because there's a billion.
And I didn't even mention Microsoft because they're doing so badly that they're like not even worth mentioning.
Yeah, Microsoft. I unfortunately agree with that. We don't have to waste our breath on an Xbox right now.
And they're not even doing well in North America anymore. So
yeah.
All right, so enough from now. Do you guys think we should transform back into an anime podcast?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, let's do that and let's hit a new segment.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
There weren't a lot of news items, but there were a lot of new anime being made. So, who would like to begin? This is, I think, the biggest one of the 4 that I had written down.
The light novel this light novel. Yeah, okay. So light novel Nidomen no Jinsei wo Isekai de receives TV anime adaptation. Mandy, have you read this one at all?
Nope. I have no idea what this is.
This one seemed popular because compared to the other ones that were announced, this one had, I think, almost 10 times as many comments made on my anime list. So there was a lot of conversation happening. I don't know much about it other than what it's about now, but
I've never heard of this.
I presume this is the biggest.
I can read the synopsis. Let's see.
Why don't you read it?
Yeah.
Let's prove. Let's prove how good of a reader you are.
Oh, no, I can't. I'm so stuffy nose, but I'll try my best, okay? Okay.
You can do it.
I hate this. Okay. Synopsis. When death tapped Renya Kunigi, oh my god, on the shoulder, he smiled and went willingly. After enjoying a nice long life of 94 years, he was looking forward to shutting his eyes for the last time. He was, therefore, understandably upset when he woke up again in an empty space devoid of memories with a young girl in a tunic rambling on and on about how she's God. So, he did what any reasonable person would have done under those circumstances. He sent the girl flying with a kick to the face. Yep. It turned out that the girl was indeed God, and she was in a pinch. She urgently needed someone to do some interdimensional resource smuggling, and Renya fit the bill. What the hell?
Can I just say that only in anime would a reasonable person kick someone in the face for anything?
For anything.
So anyway.
My first thing would be like, hey, who are you and where am I?
Exactly. Not I kick you in the face.
Right.
Anyway, so please continue.
Yeah, so his mission is to cross the boundary into another world and then chill for a few decades. That's the actual wording?
That's what it says. I took this synopsis is directly from my anime list.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let me start that over.
But this is, of course, my anime list, so everything on it.
Cross the boundary to another world and then chill for a few decades. God would handle the rest. Sweeten the deal, she offered him an 18-year-old body and a whole laundry list of ludicrously powerful skills, yet he remained hesitant. Then she mentioned food. An exotic world comes with exotic delicacies, and this sealed the deal. The next thing he knew, he was standing in a foreign land, younger, stronger, and more clueless than ever. Will he survive this world? And more importantly, will the world survive him?
It's an isekai.
What? It's an isekai. It's an isekai.
We haven't had one of those in 0 months. It's done.
We should have a countdown. So many days since the last isekai.
Well, okay, so the director is Keitaro Motonaga, which he did Jormungand, which I actually liked that anime.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
Isn't Jormungand like the giant snake? It's a giant snake from mythology or something?
I don't know.
Mandy?
I'm sorry.
Jormungandr.
It sounds familiar. I just can't.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. And I mean, unless I'm wrong, that anime is
Yeah, Norse mythology. It's the world serpent.
Yeah.
the World Serpent.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so that's the director, and the studio behind it is Seven Arcs Pictures, which originally launched in the Shotsuka ni Naru website in January 2014 with over 189 million views.
It's a lot of views.
It's a lot of views. Wait, so like this is like a really popular piece of literature.
That's why I said I thought it was the most popular of the group. I mean, it's had a lot of traffic, and it has a million print copies in circulation currently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it only has 5 volumes out.
All right. So I mean, full disclosure, like I'm not really familiar with the story, and even though obviously this is a synopsis of Mal, but I don't know if this grabs me too well because I don't like the like God being a rambling little girl.
Okay.
And then I also don't like the way it just doesn't sound enticing. The show doesn't sound that enticing based on just the synopsis because it sounds like any like isekai or like, oh, I woke up and everything's different. Where am I?
Man,
like,
we failed to impress him.
We failed to impress him.
I am the young
it
golden
sounds
Kohai is not impressed.
similar to a lot of other shows.
All right,
and
we're gonna.
stories out there, though.
This segment is now called Impress Enzo. So we're gonna see if Enzo if you like any of these others. How about that?
Hey, can we do the next one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if
Impress
Enzo
me.
likes it.
The next original anime, Chikugai Shonen Shoujo, is announced. And the English title for that is Extraterrestrial Boys and Girls. And the synopsis is, in the year 2045, internet and artificial intelligence have become widespread in the outer space. Following a massive accident at a space station, a group of children are left behind. Using narrowband and SNS, low-intelligence AI, and smartphone-controlled drones, they overcome numerous crises.
I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, definitely
that
sounds more
that
interesting than the
dope.
last one.
Yeah, that sounds better. That's like that itches my sci-fi side of me, so I'm in. That sounds fun.
What was that movie that had George Clooney in it and like Sigourney Weaver or then there was like the whole movie was them trying to survive like a space station catastrophe, and it was like the movie that made people like throw up in the theaters because it was so like mess with people.
Was it Gravity?
Is that what that was called? Gravity? This reminds me of that.
I think so. So yeah, Mitsuo Iso will pen and direct the sci-fi series at Signal.md with character designs by Kenichi Yoshida, who worked on Eureka 7.
Oh, cool! I like those character designs.
And Iso did Deno Coil, which won a lot of awards.
Oh, that's been on my to-watch list. I need to get to that anime.
Well, someone has to watch it. It's a Madhouse anime, so we know no one else saw it. So what do you think, Enzo? Does this one make you feel a little happy in your happy spot?
Yeah, I do because in terms of synopsis and when you write one, it's this style that I like the most because you don't really know anything about what's gonna happen in the show at all. It's just telling you like, hey, this is the year. This is an overall theme as to what's happening in this universe, and it's going to be about these kids, and that's it. So I like that kind of synopsis. I like this kind of sci-fi. I'm a little worried about using narrowband and SNS, because SNS is social media.
Yeah.
Isn't it SMS? I don't know.
No, I think it's SNS, right?
I'm gonna Google this right now.
Social networking service, yeah.
Sneakers and stuff is what I found.
Sneakers and stuff, yeah.
Yes,
So
sounds right.
I don't know if the sneakers and stuff convinces me as to like what this is going to be about, but I am impressed.
SNS is a satellite navigation system that uses satellites to provide autonomous geospatial positioning.
Then that makes way more sense.
So there, how you feel about that? So now do you like it?
Yeah, then all of that makes perfect sense then. And I'm in. I am impressed.
He's in the children.
We impressed him.
That's
we
wonderful.
got him.
All right, I'm gonna do the next one. Smartphone game Sho Metsutoshi gets TV anime. It's a smartphone game by a studio called Wright Flyer Studio and Madhouse.
Uh-oh.
Madhouse.
'Oh, no!
Uh-oh. 'Oh, 'oh. 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 'Oh, 'oh is going to animate the series with Pony Canyon doing the music. It's a 12-episode show. Here comes the synopsis. Strap onto your chairs. One day, a city suddenly disappears. Takuya, a professional by the contract courier and lone wolf, meets Yuki, the only survivor from the city's extinction. The two rely on a message from Yuki's father, who was heard to be missing and head toward the disappeared city, lost. However, unexpected obstacles strike the pair. With the reality especially shocking for Yuki. Before them are the feelings of those left behind. A mysterious group manipulating in the shadows and unveiling the hidden conspiracy. Takuya and Yuki, who both were initially strangers, would deepen their bond during the journey and unravel the mystery of the lost city. And in the end, we'll find love in each other, and we'll spoon in a deeply loving way. Kind of like.
Did it actually say that?
Kind of like Enzo and Mitsuki.
Oh yeah,
love,
real love.
That's right.
Was this a visual novel?
The source material?
Mm-hmm.
It is a cell phone game.
I wonder if it was a visual novel, because that sounds interesting. I love mysteries, and so I might check it out.
Yeah, if this is like an actual like a story written really well, where like you're thinking one thing and then like shit pops off and you're just like, oh, I did not think it was gonna go that way, then I'm in, because I like a part of me likes the whole like, oh, the city suddenly disappeared but there's one survivor, oh my god, like I'm in. So like the synopsis is pretty okay. It was a little it could have been less words, but I am impressed.
I'm gonna look into it.
All right, well,
video game.
Enzo liked it. One more, let's be quick.
Okay,
go ahead, Enzo.
Okay. Web manga Naka no Hiro Genome, or Jikyochu, gets anime adaptation. Synopsis is Akatsuki Iride. Whoa, I've never seen that name before. Akatsuki Iride.
It's weird.
Is popular among the gaming community as a natural gamer. One day he unlocks some hidden content in a mysterious free game called Naka no Hiro Genome, and finds that the content is a real-life game. The imposed objective of the game is to clear several games and achieve 100 million views. Akatsuki, along with the 8 older charismatic gamers, are gathered as they challenge the mysterious game world by putting their lives on the line. Kadokawa has been publishing the series in physical volumes since 2015, and there's 350,000 copies in print right now. So this could be either really interesting or really bad.
For some reason, it reminded me of Ready Player One. For some reason, that's like what I thought of. I don't know. They're challenging the game, you know.
I don't know what the imposed objective of the game is to clear several games and achieve 100 million views.
Don't know.
That part kind of, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I guess the anime would have to explain that better.
What does that mean? You don't like it?
It might mean that I'm not that impressed, even though I'm a gamer myself, dude.
It's not Overwatch, so you don't care.
This is also by the guy who did the manga Kagero Daze, which was also really popular, so it would be interesting.
I see. All right, well, that's all fun and games. Now, you guys want to move on?
Yeah.
I think of those, I'm most interested in the outer space one. I think it sounds interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. That's probably the only one that I would actually want to have. If it could be made right now, I can watch it tomorrow, it would be that one.
I'm also a big sucker whenever I see mystery tagged onto something, because I'm like, I have to watch it. I'm going to figure it out before they figure it out in the show. So I might see that one, or I might check that one out too.
All right, so the intro trivia for the trivia for this week. The new theme is Japan sightseeing. So I took pictures of just very common sightseeing places in Japan. This week's answer was the Meiji Temple in Tokyo, which is about as recognizable as anything. And the correct answer was Golden Jedi Link. So congratulations. There were way too many correct answers to read them all. But if you go to the website, you can scroll down a bit and you will find the section towards the bottom where it has the trivia, and you can play the trivia and maybe you'll win something. So best of luck to you. All right, so we have a news break. Who wants to read the in-show trivia?
I could do it. What is the name of the cafe in Tokyo Ghoul that Kaneki and the others used to frequent?
Ooh, I know this one.
All right. All right, and when we get back, we have the holy trinity of bad anime, and we also have a new segment, the Manga Minute with Mandy. So stick around for that, and we'll be back after the news break, so don't go anywhere. Hey all you anime fans, this is Mitsugi, and it's time for your first shot of anime news. Leading us off today, we have a little bit of business news from the Los Angeles Business Journal. Seiban Brands is going to be shutting its doors on July 2nd. The Business Journal citing a letter from the company stating that they will be laying off 51 of the 60 employees that worked at the company. They also are noting that Hasbro announced on May 1st that they acquired the Power Rangers intellectual property rights, which includes category rights and content libraries, all from Seiban Brands. Hasbro has already named the master toy licensee for Power Rangers, and it will take over this role from Bandai America on April 1st, 2019, and the company Hasbro has already paid $22 million towards this purchase. So for those of you that are fans of Power Rangers, there is a little bit of news going on in that realm, so you'll probably want to check the news for more details as they come out. Next up, we move to video games. Level 5, the game company, announced that Ni no Kuni 2, which is the sequel to the game that was made in collaboration with Studio Ghibli, has reached the 900,000 copies sold mark in download sales plus shipments worldwide, which is a pretty good amount for a very good RPG game. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom was launched on March 23rd. So if you're a fan of RPGs or JRPGs specifically that have an anime flair, you're going to want to go pick up Ni no Kuni 2. It is really good. I just finished it, so a little bit of enjoyment there. Next up, Nintendo files a trademark for N64, which they don't know exactly why, but it smells to me like maybe a release of another retro console. I don't feel that the N64 is yet classified as retro, that'd be my opinion, but the trademark is for use in computer, console, smartphone, and electronic games and game programs, game consoles, toys, controllers, etc. So those of you that played the N64, you'll remember that back in 1996, the system came out. It sold nearly 33 million units worldwide and had many great games such as Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, GoldenEye, and others. So there may be another retro console coming out of Nintendo, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Next up, and probably the most sad piece of news we have today, yet another man was arrested for threatening the life of an idol. This time, Mai Shirashi of the Nogizaka 46 group was threatened with her life by a man. Tokyo police from the Itsukaichi station announced on Thursday that they arrested 25-year-old unemployed male resident of the, get this, Nishi Arai Honcho neighborhood in Tokyo's Adachi ward for saying that he would, quote, catch and strangle the girl Mai Shiraishi. A little bit unnecessarily violent if you ask me. He is denying these allegations, but in Japan, idols continue to have it rough. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast.
Hey guys, please go to okay, one more time. Visit jlist.net for, oh man, that's not right. I gotta get this hosting down. If only Mitsuki Senpai was here to help.
You called, my dear Kohai?
Senpai, wait, you can teleport?
But of course. Now, do you wish to learn the ways of directing people to countless anime goods?
Yeah, teach me the ways of letting everyone know about the amazing snack selection JList.com has to offer.
Then listen closely, my Kohai. Go to jlist.com right now for all of your anime shopping needs and all of your anime snack shopping needs.
Senpai, sugoi.
Just another day in the Church of Mitsugi.
Dearest child, confide in me. Confide in me your sins.
I don't know, is this a sin? I was just gonna say boobs don't accidentally fall out, but I have had my boob accidentally fall out of my bra before. Not out of my shirt, but out of my bra, so I mean, I guess it kinda does happen. I mean, boobs are jiggly.
Oh, woest, moe-influenced child.
My boobs are
Ye hath contributed to the moe movement. Let these sins be known, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Another soul has been saved. Back to this heavenly podcast.
All right, I'm back to the 423rd episode of the Anime Acts Anonymous podcast. We had an intro trivia question. Mandy, since you did such a wonderful job reading it before, would you like to read it again?
Sure. What is the name of the cafe in Tokyo Ghoul that Kaneki and the others frequent?
No, don't you dare cheat, Enzo. I know you'll read that off the dock.
Pick me. No, I know this. I know this one.
Oh, you made a pick. All right. Okay. All right. Raise your hand.
Oh, it's up. It's up there.
Okay. In the back, Enzo.
Me? Yes. Sensei. I think the answer is Anteku.
Okay. Can you please speak up? You're a little far back there. I'm old.
Okay. I think.
Wake up.
I think the answer is Anteku.
Oh my. You know what? Thank God, someone finally did the reading. Thank you. Yes, wow. Enzo. You know what? Everybody, let's give Enzo a big round of applause. So.
Yeah.
Praise
me, all of you fucking plebs.
Wow.
Well, that was a thing.
You know what? Go to the principal's office right now. All right.
That's right, though, right? That's correct, though, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Teiku, and it gets destroyed.
Teiku. Yeah. R.I.P. on Teiku.
Yeah. All right, so we have a new segment with Mandy called the Manga Minute with Mandy. So let's roll it.
Do we have a drop?
We will have a drop.
Okay, because I can't hear it.
You may go at any time.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought that there was a drop. I can't hear.
No, it's all fine.
So, for our first Manga Minute with Mandy, we're doing Dungeon Meshi. Dungeon Meshi, aka Delicious in Dungeon, is a seinen fantasy manga written by Ryoko Kyui. And the story starts with a failed mission where 6 party members try to take on a dragon deep within a mysterious dungeon. Leos, the human swordsman, Chelchuk, the halfling rogue, and Marcial, the elven spellcaster, grieve over the loss of Leos' sister, the human spellcaster, after she was eaten by the red dragon. With her last action, Leos' sister managed to teleport the team outside. Desiring to resurrect their friend before she is fully digested, they plot out the beast's demise. But with their money, equipment, and supplies left behind the dungeon, their mission seems impossible. Until Leo suggests that they save money and time by finding food to eat within the dungeon. After meeting the dwarven explorer Senshi, they learn how to kill and cook monsters for survival. And the Dungeon Meshi feels like a cross between D&D and Food Wars. This manga is a super delight for those who like both cooking stories and fantasy stories.
D&D and Food Wars?
Yes. It goes very in depth with the food, like it creates fantasy dishes. So the team cooks one of many well-known monsters in every chapter, preparing them into very interesting dishes like slimes, mandrakes, man-eating plants, giant scorpions, even mimics. And those are just a few that are shown in the manga. There's many more. And so yeah, it's a very interesting read. I love it. There are currently 5 volumes out in English, and I'm currently on 4 myself. So I have 1 more to go. So I'm caught up. But if you're looking for a fun fantasy manga with light comedy and not really any fan service, you should check it out because it's a lot of fun.
Professor Mandy?
Yes.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Me.
Yes, you in the back.
If I eat a mimic that looks like a steak, but it's really a pile of boogers, does it taste like a steak or a pile of boogers? Because I'm scared.
A mimic is... I think a mimic would eat you.
Well, so a mimic is a chest that looks like a...
Yeah.
It's a monster that looks like a chest, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But I think a mimic could also maybe look like other animals. I don't know. I've never read the manga, so I'm scared to eat the food because I might think it's one thing, but it's not.
Actually, you're not the only one. There's a character in there who is super against eating the monsters. She thinks it's gross, and she thinks it's very unnatural. But after since she cooks up some dishes for her, she slowly turns around and realizes that, you know what, monsters taste good.
So
they turn them into all kinds of different dishes, like salads and just all kinds of interesting things.
I'm thinking of like D&D type games that have just fantasy games that have cooking. So I'm thinking like Monster Hunter has cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And Toriko has cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like those?
Not like Monster Hunter, but I've never seen it go, so I'm not
it's
sure.
Its own thing.
Yeah.
I like that. That's sexy.
So you should check it out if that sounds interesting, because I think it's a lot of fun.
So Mandy's a big manga reader, and the rest, well, at least I'm not a manga reader. And so I thought, why not leverage some of Mandy's knowledge of manga and let her explore some of her other hobbies by suggesting good manga to the world.
Yep.
So
manga or Manga Minute with Mandy. I'm just going to talk about just a manga that perhaps no one has really heard of. I'm trying to avoid ones that are like, the big ones like Naruto and those, but maybe some little lesser known ones, just to give them some boost, and hopefully maybe you find something that you might like.
So you're doing Monster next week, right?
Probably not, no.
Oh. Okay.
But Monster is a good manga, though.
I know, I'm just kidding. All right, so on the Discord, we have a and thank you for that, by the way.
No problem.
On the Discord, we have a section where you can suggest topics, and I from time to time lean on that when we're looking for topics. When we can't think of something that we particularly find enticing, we will go to the listeners and let them have a say in what we talk about. And Peter Wright AA from the Discord wanted us to talk about the new holy trinity of bad anime. And in his words, he said in the early 90s, there were 3 anime that were deemed so bad they were good. And those were Mad Bull 34, which I haven't seen, by the way.
I haven't really seen any of these.
MD Geist. You haven't seen MD Geist?
The most dangerous anime?
My problem is when people tell me something's bad, I don't go and watch it.
Well,
yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Well, that's probably I mean that makes sense. And Angel Cop, which is just super violent. But he wanted to know what we thought the new anime were that were terrible, but everybody should watch them. And he says he votes for Handshakers, Code Geass, and School Days. So
Code Geass.
I thought Code Geass was pretty decent. I mean, I
think Code Geass is decent. It's not shit tier to the point where you should not, where it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it probably when I was in college, and I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I don't know how much I would like it now, but I don't know. But so he said new anime, but I didn't know what time period he wanted, so I just said 2000 and up.
Oh, okay.
I think that's fair.
So I really struggled with this one because, like I said, I don't usually go, like, if somebody says this anime is really bad or if it has a really low score, I don't really go and watch it because I have too many other really good ones I still haven't seen yet. I feel like I might be wasting my time. But I also struggled with the ones that are so bad that people should still go watch them.
Yeah.
So I tried my best, though. And I also didn't want to put up ones that I haven't actually watched the whole thing either.
I think those are tough to come by because if a show is so bad it's good, it must have something really weird or wacky about it that would draw you to it, and that would make it worth watching even though it sucks.
Or it's fun to laugh at.
Right. Or it has lots of boobs in it or something. I don't know.
That's it.
Whatever it is. So I agree with you. And of course, why would you go watch a show that you know is bad? That's silly. You wouldn't, right? I mean, you kind of have to stumble ass backwards into these because otherwise you're never going to give them a shot.
Yeah.
So I thought we could run through each of our lists and then we'll pick the worst 3, and that will be the Holy Trinity.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
But I also want to say that like Mandy, I don't have a lot of time in general.
Yeah.
Between all the shit I do and between trying to get the platinum ranking in Overwatch, I don't have time to if I try an anime and it's looking like it's shit tier, then I just don't finish it. So I don't have a lot of context for the new Holy Trinity of terrible anime, but I have tried ones that I can put in there just based on the first few episodes because they're that bad.
That's what I was also going to say, is because usually something's bad, I don't continue watching it. But now that you and I have to watch some of these, maybe we'll have more on our list next year.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm ready to start.
Because before I wasn't forced to watching.
I'm going to change one of mine because Enzo copied one of mine. So
I saw that on the list.
Oh, I copied that? What the hell?
Yeah. Get your own damn choices.
I didn't realize.
All right, so it's okay. This is a good one.
I still agree. I agree with the one you just chose, though.
Okay, so
I'm still okay with that pick. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Another as my first one, and Another is an anime that people will remember because it's like shockingly violent. This anime came out in 2012, so it's not super old, but this is that show, and I'm not gonna go through the synopses because who gives a shit. This is that show where like they're in a school, and like in the 3rd episode, a girl falls and gets impaled through the throat on her umbrella. You'll recall.
Oh yeah.
So it's like this show where it has like an eye patch girl in it, which is a huge cliche, and none of the characters in the show had any personality whatsoever. They were all like monotone zombies.
They're all so like fake stoic the whole time.
It's like, and so if you're in a school where all your classmates are mysteriously dying left and right, don't you think you'd be a little more emotional about it?
I would probably do a leave and move.
Do a leave?
Do a leave like you're gonna sit in the corner and pop naproxens?
No, I
Not that leave.
I would move. I would move.
So
it's actually interesting because I originally read the book, like the novel of it, and because it was in the bookstore, and I had no idea because the cover didn't have anime or anything on it. It just looked like a horror book. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. It's a ghost story in the horror section. So I picked it up and read it. Had no idea it had anime or came from a manga or anything. And it's interesting because I actually really enjoyed the book. And I'm wondering if a lot of the weird like reveals that were in the anime that were kind of clumsy would have been better in novel form.
Well, so I think the characters will really ruin this show because they're not interesting and they're not good characters. And I don't recall it looking good or being well animated either. But but it's a show that people will want to watch because it has such a ridiculous amount of violent deaths in it. There's like a scene where doesn't somebody get run over by a speedboat in the ocean and killed by like the propellers in the speedboat?
I don't remember. I do know someone dies to an umbrella.
Yeah, so people die. All these classmates are being pulled into these events that just result in them all dying in some outlandish way. It's a lot like Final Destination, the anime.
100%.
And so the anime, in my opinion, sucks. Right? It's an anime that I will remember, that I always remember because I suffered watching it, and therefore I hate it. And I talk to my therapist every week about it. But you might want to watch it because you're not going to find another anime where somebody gets impaled by an umbrella or someone gets run over by a speedboat thinking that there's a shark coming, and then they get hit by the speedboat and the propellers like grind them into pulp. You know, like the amount of ridiculously outlandish violent deaths in this show will make you want to watch it just to see who gets killed next. But that doesn't make it a good show. It's a bad anime. And if you like it, I'm sorry. The book's probably better. But it is what it is. And it has an eye patch girl in it, so fuck that. That's the most cliche, annoying bullshit ever. So if I had $1 for every anime I knew of that had an eye patch girl with the exact same eye patch, I'd have like $20. And that's enough for me to go buy myself a real anime DVD to watch.
Or a nice bowl of ramen with like 3 toppings on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, a $20 bowl of ramen? Oof.
Well, that's how much it cost me here in Tampa to get there's a ramen shop that I go to, right? And they overcharge for their ramen. Like it's like $16 for a bowl of ramen after the tip and tax. It's like $21, and I'm like, where do you get off? And you can tell that. What?
The Ichiran here in Brooklyn charges you $20 is your standard bowl.
That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's the novelty of the solo booth, but I mean, fuck, it's really good.
I mean. Do your ramen shops make their noodles homemade?
Ichiran does.
All right, because this place I go to doesn't. You can tell they're buying them dehydrated and just put them in water.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my first one. Who wants to go next?
Alrighty, so my first one, and I had to check what year it came out. The doc said 2000 and up. So mine came out in 2000, and it's the Ghost Stories English dub. And Ghost Stories did terrible in Japan. So when they brought it over here, I don't know all of the specifics of it, but I think what happened is that they knew it wasn't going to sell well. So the English voice actors pretty much turned it into an abridged series. They just joked the entire time. It It's really bad. There's a lot of terrible jokes in it, but still kind of funny to watch.
This show is a very random 19 episodes. What the hell?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we ran out of money.
Like it got canceled or something. What the hell's the deal with that?
Oh man, some of the jokes are terrible, but it's kind of funny they gave the English voice actors free reign to do that. It's a lot like watching an abridged series on YouTube.
The dub is done by ADV Films. Oh, the nostalgia.
The nostalgia.
Man, that shit brings me back to my Bubblegum Crisis days, like Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 that I bought on DVD and from ADV. Ah, Pris, she was such a bitch.
I don't think
that was my first one.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Oh man, you should watch it. We'll watch it. We should watch it together. It's so silly.
Okay.
Quick non sequitur. When are we going to do our Gunsmith Cats watch party?
Oh, we can
Whenever
do that
you want.
probably sometime this week if you want.
I mean,
you have to tell me a day because if I don't get told, hey, this day, then I just sleep.
Well, I'm pretty much free all week that I know of like at night. So whenever's best for you, my fuzzy little man peach.
Okay. I will let you know.
All right. I think you're up, Enzo.
Yeah, so my first one. So I will admit that the topic to me, I didn't catch the whole like it's so bad you have to watch it. I just wanted to list bad anime. So that's why the first one, because I don't want anyone to watch this first one, but the first one I have listed is Citrus that came out last year or early this year, I forget.
Yeah.
Citrus is a beautiful example of a show you just shouldn't pay attention to because there's no way it's okay for in the first episode to put a very like pretty much just a rape scene in the first episode between a girl and her supposedly new stepsister. Not cool. And then the whole anime, I don't know, it's just like I watched like the first 2 episodes. Plot makes no sense. I think you guys covered it on the podcast before I joined or right after I joined. I forget, but Kazuo covered it, I think.
Yeah, he hated it.
As an impression.
Yeah.
And like I agree with most of the points you brought up, like it just wasn't good, and then you just throw in that little like scene that it was really uncomfortable to watch, and it's just trash. So like Citrus, don't even go back to watch it. It's just bad times. Which is a shame.
Just bad times.
It's just bad times.
I feel like people were excited for this show because like people hear Yuri or Yaoi anime and they're like they dive on it like wild animals.
Yeah, because that's because it's exciting to see something come out that's for that, and then if it's good, it's great because it's good shit. But then when it's bad like that, it's just so disrespectful.
Yeah, it's extra bad, right?
It's extra bad, yes. And that's my first one.
It was a trap, right? It sucked so many people in, then it just blew you all out of your chairs.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's because the manga was doing so well, so people were excited to see the manga.
It's a mass troll job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched. A lot of us watched it together on Discord episode 1, and a lot of us were just like, "Okay, well, let's not do that again." That's my first one.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll go next.
Go for it.
All right, so my next one was Amnesia, which is a show that I watched a long ass time ago, and I honestly can barely remember it. And I think that's
already laughing.
I mean, here's what I remember about this show. I remember it having a lot of pretty boys in it that had obnoxious multicolored hair, like two-tone hair.
It was based on a visual novel.
Yeah, well, if you would have asked me what it was based off of, I would have told you it was based off of the rankest dumpster fire that anybody could ever identify in the streets of Brooklyn around Enzo's apartment. Okay, because I know at any given time in New York City, there's at least one burning dumpster. Okay, and that is what Amnesia is, and Amnesia can only be topped in smell by its sequel. Didn't this thing have a sequel?
No.
Oh, heaven, it did. I can't believe it.
Amnesia, did it?
I don't know. I get it. I erased the anime from my mind.
As an OVA.
Yeah, the OVA. Like, I mean, two-tone hair boys that were all total assholes, and this one girl who just lets herself get kicked around like a doll the whole time and just completely abused the whole anime. The anime was fucking stupid. And then at the end of it, there's like a guy trying to kill her, and she keeps coming up to him like this guy's literally trying to murder this bitch with a knife or whatever it was. It's probably his dick. He was like gonna whack her with his penis, and this bitch, she ought to run the hell away because you are about to be killed. And instead, she's like in love and can't or something and can't just run the hell away. So she's like, why are you doing this? And just keeps going back to him. And of course, bad things happen because when you're a stupid anime girl, bad things happen. And I'll be perfectly honest. This anime has a boy in it named Orion, and that's enough to make me. And the girl has no name. Her name is literally Heroine. Well, that is how awful. The anime is so horrible that it's also misogynistic for just if you want to toss that icing on the cake. It's like that's like the maraschino cherry in your like milkshake that your girlfriend always eats when you're not looking, like right off the bat. The first thing that always disappears is the cherry, and I ain't the one eating the cherry. Okay, it's never me. It's always someone else taking the cherry off the damn milkshake. This bitch's name is Heroin, and I don't mean like the drug that you inject into yourself and then like fall asleep, and then you never wake up again. I'm talking about heroine, like spelled like a female hero, but she's anything but a hero. She's a stupid girl, and I want to slap her in the face and throw her into the burning dumpster with the rest of the garbage. You stupid bitch. Except her voice actress
I actually 100%ed this visual novel.
I will come to your house and wash the pollen off of your car.
Wait. Why did you 100% this visual?
The visual novels actually wasn't that bad, except for one route. One route was really terrible, which is actually kind of funny.
Is that the route that the anime is based on?
No. See, the thing with visual novel anime is, especially dating sims, is that they can't do all routes at once because each route is a completely different story. So they try to do the bad ending, which is where you get none of them.
And so, let me tell you what this anime is based on.
Yeah, tell me what it's based on.
You remember the last time you were on a date with a girl in New York, and you're like walking down into the subway together, and she and you presume she smells nice, right? Because she's on a date, she's probably wearing a little perfume, it's normal, right? You want to smell good. But you can't smell her because all you can smell is the abundance, the dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of individually wrapped piles of DNA urine that is on the walls of the subway, and all you can smell is the urine going up into your nose. You want to smell the perfume, but you can't smell it. All you can smell is the last homeless guy that took a piss. That homeless man's piss is amnesia.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, that smell is so bad.
And I'm done.
That's homeless guy piss scent. Very, very home. Hits close to home for me in New York. I smell that every damn day.
Now let me ask you a question.
What's up?
That story with the girl that I just described, has that ever happened just like that?
Oh, me going on a date like that?
Yeah, and you're like, I want to smell her, but I can't because all I can smell is some guy's dick.
I don't usually smell girls. So
I don't usually smell girls.
I haven't, unless like I go in for a kiss and then I smell them by default. But
well, you'd rather smell her than some guy's urine.
I would definitely rather smell her than some guy's urine.
All right, then I rest my case. Next, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Anyways, I did have a funny story about Amnesia. It's because I was playing it, and I did one route. Iki was actually kind of cute, so I went to the next route, and my boyfriend was asleep in the other room because he was taking a nap. And I got so mad at that route that I yelled and woke him up. And he was like, what the hell? And I was like, this dude locked me in a cage and I'm so mad. And he was like, he thought it was so funny that Christmas he bought me a clock with Toma on it. And I still have it.
Wait, Ice Heroes in the YouTube chat said the same thing. He was like, I always remember the Amnesia the game where one of the dudes locks you in a cage to protect you.
Yeah, that shit happens in the anime too. This and yet this girl is just hanging around these guys. I think they also throw her in like a river.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, Toma's insane.
Exactly.
No,
Should they throw her ass in a river? Listen, Mandy, listen to me. If I was a guy and you knew me and I locked you in a cage, threw you into a river, and then tried to kill you with a knife, Are you gonna run the hell away or come back for more?
In the game, it was the fangirls that threw her in the river.
Oh, that's right. Well, this girl's life is terrible.
I would once again, I would just fucking leave.
Well, she doesn't have her memories, Enzo.
Her memories.
Her memories, like her boobs.
Her memories.
Next.
Anyways.
All right, Mandy.
Now my second one is Pupa.
Oh.
Because everyone should watch it and know how bad it is. Just to know it exists.
Did everyone watch it?
Everyone should know that it exists.
Oh my God.
Look, everyone should know it exists.
No.
I'm not even going to spoil it. If you don't know what Pupa is, go watch it.
Oh. I apologize on Mandy's behalf in advance. Wow, Pupa.
I got nothing else to say about it.
It is bad.
Pupa is an anime. You know what I mean?
It's a thing. That's for sure.
I'm never gonna forget the scene in Pupa where the brother's laying down on the bed, and the sister's on top of him, and it's obviously a very sexually depicted scene because anybody's had that moment in your life where you're like making out, then you start, and then you kiss her on like on the neck, then you gotta work your way down, you kiss her on the stomach. You know, it's like that. Yeah. It's like that sexual thing where you're kissing and whatever, and you know the kisses move south. It's like that.
But
happens.
It's also her brother. Her brother.
Yeah, it's her brother.
Their brother and sister.
That shit happens in this anime, but she ain't kissing him. She's straight up eating that bitch. She is eating his ass, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm totally cool with it because you're my sister." Fuck that. There is no way you're cool with that. There is no way. Go find some friggin' fresh meat. Like, do what they do in Tokyo Ghoul. Go drink some coffee or something.
Exactly.
This is ridiculous. Okay? I've had enough of this. I'm mad.
This entire topic is just triggering Mitsuki. God damn it. Peter, why'd you do this to us?
I'm friggin' mad right now. And you know what?
Why?
It's just you could take a clip out of Blood C, the anime too, and get yourself some friggin' coffee with some blood in it, because this is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to watch a brother and sister. It's bad enough in anime that brothers and sisters are making out and having sex all the time anyway, but now I have to pretend. Now I have to have the mental image of them having sex, and she's friggin' eating him, and the Foley effects are horrible. I'm gonna throw up.
I'm going to puke. Excuse me.
I'm gonna pupee all over this friggin' podcast table.
So yeah, you guys should all watch it.
I'm mad.
Yeah, definitely not a waste of time.
They're only 4 minutes each episode.
Every second,
you got it.
Good times with you and your friends.
And you know what's even worse? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be even honest, and I'm still mad.
Yeah, go ahead.
4 minutes, you can't even have a good sex scene in 4 minutes. I tell you what, if you're with a woman and 4 minutes is all you can get out of your lovemaking, then I feel bad for that woman. So this couldn't even be a good hentai, because just about the time things are getting good, the episode's over, and that's ridiculous. Okay, and I'm mad.
And I'm upset.
And I'm mad.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go with my next show, and you tell me if you get more mad or less mad. Okay. my next anime is Super Lovers. Go ahead, Mitsuki.
I've never seen Super Lovers.
I tell you what, the next time I want to see a young 9-year-old boy's ass being gripped by the strong embrace of a hairy knuckled man, I will put on Super Lovers. But until then, I'm gonna watch Pupa, because at least they're the same age. Okay, for God's sake.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, I just want to let's take this in. Let's think about the fact that both Pupa and Super Lovers exist. Can we take that in for a second?
Yeah.
Take that in, guys.
And I'm wondering,
in the same genre as Ghibli, in the same genre.
People wonder why I'm fucked up in the head. You know, it's no wonder. I've been doing this for 9 friggin' years. I mean, are you surprised that I'm a little deranged?
No, I'm not surprised you're deranged.
I mean, come on now.
No, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Hide your daughters. I watch anime.
Right, anyway, Super Lovers, if you're watching it through the lens of Troll, it's entertaining because you just laugh at the entire thing because it exists and it's terrible. And you go into it thinking you're going to have a good time, Well, if you have a good time watching it, then I'm worried for you. That's for one. If you want to see a 9-year-old, go through some sexy time with a man, well, this is for you, I guess.
Oh dear.
Oh my God, this anime exists, huh?
I've never seen it, so I have no idea.
Don't see it. Don't see it. Even if it's to joke around, don't see Super Lovers. The podcast has watched it for you. We took the hit. Okay?
God.
They took the hit. Kimiko, Kazuo, Chiaki, and Mitsuki took the hit for you guys. They bore the cross that is the burden of Super Lovers. And not even alcohol can numb them enough to get over it.
You don't like eating dog shit? Yeah, Super Lovers is a very great thing. If if I ever want to ensure that I am a virgin forever, I would just show every girl I date Super Lovers. It'd be perfect. and if I ever want my mother to cry, the hardest I've ever seen her cry, like I'll just put on Super Lovers, and she'll say I'm a terrible mother. And my mother's actually said that before, but it was when she was watching Ninja Scroll with me. And you can imagine the feeling that my mother thought when she watches that rock golem guy, like lapping that girl's breasts up into her mouth in that one scene in the beginning of the movie, and the thoughts that must have gone through her head as she's sitting next to her son, her oldest son, her pride and joy, her baby boy, her firstborn,
wow,
the pride of her life, being deranged and tainted into a wild, twisted animal in front of her very eyes by the very product that she willingly pulled cash out of her wallet to purchase.
Oh my God.
And that is not as bad as Super Lovers. That is not as bad. Super Lovers is more fucked up than that, okay?
It's so fucked.
And so if you want your parents to just weep and denounce their own parentalhood, just put this on. And they will never be the same again. I rest my case.
Well then. Well, that was a discussion.
Yeah, it was.
We have more. We have more to list.
Yeah, it was.
I believe.
Blood Sea is the next one on my list. And
oh my God, I remember Blood Sea.
I'm not as angry about Blood Sea. It's a terrible show, but mostly
it's just bad. Yeah.
Mostly this show's bad because, what the hell is the girl's name?
Is it a play on blood? Fuck, wait, hold on.
Yeah, Saya, I think.
Something like that. She has like the sword, right?
Yeah. Her name is.
I don't think I've seen this.
Her name's Saya, played by the lovely Nana Mizuki. I don't know what she was thinking. Saya is. She's like the worst possible incarnation of Saya from any of the Blood shows, like AKA Blood Plus, Blood the Last Vampire. Some of these are like pretty good shows, especially like I think Blood the Last Vampire is a pretty well liked anime, if I'm not mistaken, a movie. Or at least it's at least well known. But this is an anime where like this moe-ass bitch who's supposed to be Saya doesn't do anything except sit around in her damn cafe and drink coffee. So like back in the day, we listed all the things that the C could stand for in Blood Sea, and it was crap, coffee. I don't know. Come up with something else.
Caca.
Love it.
Caca.
Perfect.
Boom.
Dung beetle.
Catastrophe. Mandy, help me out here, friend.
What do you want from me now?
Blood Sea's terrible. Okay, that anime is dog shit.
Blood Sea's bad. Okay.
I can't help you. I'm so sorry.
It is the dog shit that you ate because you thought it was a steak, but it was really a mimic from Dungeon Meshi. And it was actually a pile of shit that you ate it. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah,
a shit burger, if you will.
You don't like eating dog shit? That's right. You don't like eating dog shit either, and I don't like eating dog shit. So when you watch Blood Sea, go outside to the nearest German Shepherd, put a bag under his anus, collect... I can't keep it.
You couldn't even get that one out.
We just broke into you, dude.
Oh, man, I couldn't keep that one together. That was too much.
He can't even get it out.
But you wonder where I was going with that, don't you? Oh my God.
Oh my God, this topic is breaking Mitsuki, dude. He's overloading with hatred.
Oh goodness God. Blood Sea's a bad anyway. All right, keep going.
My next one.
can't
sorry.
raise Mitsuki's blood pressure like this, okay?
Oh, I'm totally chill. Trust me, nothing makes me more chill than talking about some of the worst experiences of my life.
My next one, look, I had to try real hard, and this is not like a really terrible. I can think of things far worse, but I was trying to think of ones that were bad, but you should still watch for some reason. I had a really hard time because at first I was gonna put Dies Irae like the first episode because that was such a trippy nonsense.
That was episode
I laughed the entire time, but I didn't watch the rest of it. So I was like, I feel like I'm cheating if I put that one down. So don't get mad at me. I put down Monster Musume because although I don't think it's a good show, but it's hilarious. I'm gonna say it on your face.
That's an anime.
And I had to keep watching because I had to know how far they're gonna take things.
I don't remember how long I spent watching Monster Musume.
I'll tell you how long I watched it.
How long did you watch it?
I watched it up until they got to the bird girl because there are a lot of see, after you watch anime for long enough, and I know a lot of the listeners can relate to this. When you've watched enough anime, you will say to yourself, "Yeah, I would sleep with a cat girl." Yeah, and I probably would, to be honest, because I've watched enough hentai with cat girls in it to know that that's good enough. And
like
cat
if that
girls
was
can be
real, you'd
sexy.
be like, fine.
Yeah, and everybody on this podcast, everybody from the smallest child in the world to the eldest elder who listening to this knows that I like succubus. And someday if I die and if I go to hell, I'll be okay with it if I can have succubus with me. I'll somehow make it work, okay? But I draw the line at bird girls because I am not eating feathers. That is some fucking bullshit.
The episode, watch her lay an egg? Oh man,
no,
that's what I do.
No. That is not happening. See, if it's a snake girl, at least I can like put her under the covers, and the top half of her body looks human. I can work with that. Okay, she's hot. She's voluptuous. She's got nice skin. She's got long hair. She's got nice eyes. And if I'm in the dark and it's under the covers, I don't have to see the snake. But if I pull the covers back, then you have a tragedy. Okay, but bird girls I can't avoid. I'm gonna have feathers all up in my shower. You think your cats and dogs shed a lot? Wait until you get a bird girl for a girlfriend. It'll never be the same again. Okay.
Best girl, zombie girl is the best. Watching her like unstitch her boob so it falls off was hilarious.
Quote unquote Mitsuki 2018. Wait until you get a bird for a girlfriend, then you'll know what shedding is like.
Well, we already had bird boyfriends. Hatofu boyfriend. So now we got bird girlfriends.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah, okay.
So, Enzo, what's yours?
I have so this is like an anime I watched.
Oh my god, this one. I'm already angered.
It's like, it kind of flew under the radar, kind of, because it's understandably so, because it's fucking dumb as hell, but
you can't tease me like this. I'm so mad.
It's Vampire Homes, and like, I just remember, like, it was like a few years ago, like 2014, 2015, I think. But
it was last year, wasn't it?
No way. This was like
really? Was it older than that? Oh.
Hold on, let me look it up. Let me look it up real quick.
But Vampire Homes, look, I love Sherlock Holmes. Everything. I love the books. I love the games. I love everything Sherlock Holmes.
And that's why I think I pressed play on episode 1 of this, because I was like Vampire Holmes. I was like, Holmes, probably like Sherlock Holmes. And I wasn't wrong to expect that. Like they tried to do like Sherlock Holmesy. But here's the thing. This fucking anime with this fucking Holmes wannabe doesn't solve anything ever.
Yeah.
They don't solve anything ever. All that happens is fucking show.
You can't tease me with the possibility of a vampire Sherlock Holmes and give me that.
Exactly. So here's the thing. Show called Vampire Holmes. I'm like, cool, this could be kind of sick. Vampire world mystery. Like, let's fucking go. Sign me the fuck up. No, none of that. It's barely supernatural. Nothing happens. Nothing gets solved. The anime uses really weird like CG mini chibi characters for all shit, and like, it's just fucking bad. Oh my god, it's rated 3.5 on anime. It's a 3.53 on my anime list. And for once, I tend to agree with the score from Mal. It is literally so bad. Nothing happens. It's so bad. And the animation is so fucking bad, too. Wow.
You had me at Benedict Cumberbatch's nipples.
Yeah, exactly.
That. When he's dead.
But I would watch those nipples for half an hour instead of this show.
You know what?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going back to the joke. I messed up. I can't do that. It was gonna be wonderful though, but I'm just gonna let you guys imagine what I was gonna say.
So those are, we all went through our 3. Are there any honorable mentions you guys have?
No. I've released all of my rage.
I guess like King's Game recently, that was trash.
Oh.
Yeah.
King's Game was trash.
The problem is I keep thinking of things that are fresh in my mind. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I mean, again, this is me personally. I don't.
So
really,
we have to come up. Sorry.
I haven't indulged in the many bad anime because once I think they're bad, and I've tried them myself, I usually just drop them.
Yeah, and don't we have to come up with our official Trinity?
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you want to take the worst from each of our lists, or do you want to take the worst 3 overall?
The worst 3 overall, for sure.
All right. So what's the worst one here?
I think the worst one here is probably Pupa.
I agree. Actually.
The Pupa takes shit tier supreme. This Pupa.
There it is.
And number 2.
Okay.
Number 2.
Probably Super Lovers.
Probably Super Lovers. Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure
haven't
about
seen
that.
it myself, but from what I know,
I'm not convinced about that. I think Amnesia might be worse.
Oh, you know what? Yes, I'll say Amnesia. Is worse, but not by much.
See, at least Super Lovers tried to have a story. Like, I really think it did. It tried. And
there was plot.
But Amnesia is just a steaming pile of German Shepherd shit. I mean, there's nothing good about that. If you like that anime, I don't know what. I feel bad for you.
Okay, so we have Pupa as shit tier supreme. We have Amnesia as shit tier second. And what is the 3rd shit tier anime?
Number 3.
Probably Super
remember,
Lovers,
these
right?
are ones that are so bad, people have to watch them.
Oh, I feel bad for people. You've been warned, though. I
think this is just a holy trinity of bad anime.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I haven't seen Citrus, but I would say Super Lovers probably.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, so are we all agreeing on these? Is it Pupa, Amnesia, and Super Lovers? That's one from each list. It feels good.
But what they're saying in the chat is they're not so. You don't want ones that are so bad that they shouldn't be seen. So do you think people should watch Amnesia?
I'm going to tell you right now that it's way too hard to expect me to come up with 3 anime that are so bad that they are good because I don't watch bad anime.
Because we don't.
So be happy we did this at all.
Time.
Okay? Be happy that you heard me break up into laughter while making a joke about German Shepherd shit. Okay? Take it and be happy. All right? God, so greedy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I just don't think Mitsuki, Mandy, or I, or anyone that's been in like with the podcast in the past we don't have the time to watch anime that are so bad because once they're so bad, we have to focus on ones that we are liking.
And I don't have the appetite. Okay? German Shepherds eat a lot of fiber.
Anyway, back to the topic. The holy trinity of bad anime per the panelists here on the podcast today are in 3rd place, Super Lovers. In 2nd place, Pupa. And in 1st place, shit tier supreme is.
You say Pupa for number 2.
I did. I fucked up. Okay, reset.
Oh dear.
Oh my God.
I can't do it.
One more try. Come on, one more try.
Okay. One more try.
Yeah.
Okay. So the holy trinity of bad anime for the host on the podcast today is in 3rd place we have Super Lovers. In 2nd place we have Amnesia, and Pupa is the shit tier supreme anime.
That's right.
For us.
That's right. Oh my God, what have we done?
I told you guys that my brain has been so dead.
All right, so we have an intro trivia question, and thank you to Peter Wright AA for suggesting that topic. What is the salary of Bonda, the main character of Gura-Zeni? That's the intro trivia question. And when we come back, we're going to be doing a review on Devilman Crybaby, So stay tuned, and we'll be back after the news break. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Mitsugi. I'm back, and it's time for your second dose of anime news. Starting us off, we have some Code Geass news. Tomofumi Ogasawara launched the Code Geass Hangyaku no Lelouch Re manga on the Kadokawa New Type website on Friday, and it is being described as, quote, the definitive version of the Code Geass manga. There are some pretty nifty visuals on the website if you want to go check it out. The arrival of the moment of truth. The story begins when Lelouch and Suzuku begin the Zero Requiem, a plan that the pair execute at the end of the Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion R2 anime. The manga's next chapter is going to debut on June 29th. If you're a fan of Code Geass, you might want to head over to the Kadokawa New Type website and try to get your hands on it. It does look very pretty, and of course Code Geass is very popular, so I know that this applies to many of you. Next up, we have some exciting news for those of you that might attend Anime Expo, which is typically the largest anime convention in the United States. They are having the author of Overlord, Kugane Maruyama, anime director Naoyuki Ito, and Goblin Slayer author Kumo Kagyu all attending the convention. They're going to be at panels, which fans can submit questions to the panels for the Overlord and Goblin Slayer creators. And of course, there's going to be other features as well at the convention. So this is just another reason why you might want to head over to the Anime Expo event this year if you want to have a chance to see or maybe have your questions answered by some of these prolific members of the anime community. And next up, there is a movie known as Hosoda's Mirai no Mirai. Mamoru Hosoda, very prolific director in the anime world, is going to be releasing this movie in English titled Mirai from the Future. It's going to come out in the United Kingdom and Ireland in cinemas in November, very early November, which also means it might get releases in other places such as the United States. Right now it is only subtitled. They don't know if they're going to have a dubbed edition of the movie that will come out, but I can tell you from looking at it, the movie is beautiful, and just the promo art has me very intrigued by it. Here is the storyline. The tagline for the poster reads, "I met the future." The story's film centers around a family living in a small house in an obscure corner of a certain city. In particular, the family's spoiled 4-year-old boy, Kun-chan. When Kun-chan gets a sister named Mirai, he feels that his new sister stole his parents' love from him and is overwhelmed by many experiences he undergoes for the first time in his life. In the midst of it all, he meets an older version of Mirai who has come from the future. Sounds pretty interesting, looks beautiful, so if you're fans of the work of Mamoru Hosoda, as I am, you might want to check out more of this online. Next up, we have some pretty cool news. A live-action series adaptation of an essay written by Keiichi Tanaka called Utsu Tunnel o Nukete Hitotachi, otherwise known as People Who Got Through the Depression Tunnel. A story about depression. This manga essay has been greenlit, and it's going to be streaming on television this fall. They have members of a comedy duo, Kokoriko, are going to be performing for it. The Keiichi Tanaka's nonfiction essay manga describes his own battle with depression, which he calls the Utsu Tunnel, and how he copes with it. He interviews people who are also dealing with depression. Each episode of the series will deal with a different character's story, from salarymen, housewives, and part-time workers. Definitely sounds very unique and interesting and probably very thought-provoking, so if that sounds like an interest to you, you might want to check that out, and hopefully it'll come out on time and be quite good this fall. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now it's time to get back to the podcast. Hey, Chiaki, we need another commercial telling people all the cool stuff they can get if they support the AAA podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I want to make sure people know that they can get hentai episodes.
And hobby addicts, I love those.
For sure, and after parties if they go to AAAPodcast.com/join.
But haven't we been doing those for a while, Mitsuki? Don't you think that everyone already knows by now that they can go to AAAPodcast.com/join to get up to 8 extra episodes per month for less than $1 an episode?
I don't know if everybody knows to go to AAAPodcast.com/join.
But if they don't by now, maybe they never will, Mitsuki.
That's so sad, Chiaki.
What else can we do?
What else can we do?
この番組は J-list.com の提供でお送りします。
止まらない のメロディー
Yeah, sing it, sing it, sing
That's
it.
right.
Sing
Only
it,
for
baby.
you, Enzo.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to the 223rd episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Enzo is normally not dangerous, but when he takes his clothes off, he becomes
Most dangerous. Right there.
That's right, god damn it. Okay, welcome back to the podcast. We had an intro trivia question. What is the salary of Bonda, the main character of Good as Any, an anime no one gives a shit about? He makes 18 million yen per year. That's his salary.
Oh my god. That's a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Well, is it not? Oh, maybe you're right.
It's like $150,000 a year, but that's a lot of money normally, but for a pro athlete, that's like nothing.
Yeah, that ain't shit. You're right. You're right.
All right. So, welcome back.
Yeah, we have a 5-star review.
We do. Who would
Me
like
too.
to read that review?
I can do it. So, roll that damn drop.
You know what? I had a feeling that you would say that. And so, I'm going to play the drop for you.
Yeah.
It's time for iTunes review.
Go ahead, my friend. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Make it good. Make
Cool.
it nice and spicy like I like it.
Yeah. So, this review is by Vermillionaire 3. Subject line is awesome show, 5 stars.
That's right.
It says, y'all are great. If you're an anime addict, this show will make that addiction worse. Kazuo is the best.
Who told Kazuo he could write in
Kazuo can't make up.
Kazuo ain't even
just to
here.
Write these reviews, dude.
Oh, Kazuo, how nice you look today. Oh, you know what? I don't even know because he ain't here.
Wow. Kazuo, if you're listening, you can't just pay off the listeners, dude, to write things like that. That's not good.
Kazuo
He has a bunch of
It's not a good look,
accounts.
Kazuo.
For all I know, Kazuo is living in like Burma now because he hasn't answered a text in like 13 days. Okay, he may not even be amongst the living anymore.
I call upon the listeners to message this man on Discord. Just ask him if he's alive.
We're gonna put out an APB, all hands on deck. We're looking for Kazuo. If anybody's seen
handsome
Kazuo,
man.
please call my cell phone. The number is 312-111-1555. That's the number you got to call. You got to help Kazuo. Put him on milk cartons. Put him on trees. Put him everywhere. This man is lost. We need him back.
Yeah.
And get a damn iPhone. I'm tired of having to send you photos, one friggin' photo at a time, because your Android isn't compatible with us. Okay. The rest of the podcast hosts have
You're ruining
iPhones.
the host group chat.
And you need to, you're ruining everything. I can't even give our group chat a unique name because someone has to have an Android phone. And so none of the fun shit that the rest of us can do, he can't do it. So you know what? And this is so much fun because Kazuo's not here to defend himself. So let me play a couple drops here that make fun of Kazuo. Let's see here.
Shit.
I gotta find a good one here. Let me see.
Oh, God.
NUDZPLZ.
There we go.
What?
Nudes, please.
I feel like there was a new one over here. No, I think that was. Oh, never mind. That's an Enzo drop. Sorry.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh no, it's not. Where the hell is it? I can't find anything. Oh, here we go.
Mitsuki, I want to take my balls out. Lube up your head.
That feels better. Sweet release. So,
all right.
Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, Devilman Crybaby.
Bang.
Bang, 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 shay bang, shay bang, bang. This review is gonna have spoilers in it at some point.
It's gonna definitely have spoilers at some point. Yeah.
I do want to talk about the ending of this.
Yeah. I think definitely if you don't want to be spoiled, you should probably leave now and come back and listen later.
Yeah. In fact, I just play the spoiler drop.
Spoilers are coming.
Just so it's official. I really think that the ending is a discussion point, and we're going to talk about that.
Totally. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there for sure.
And so it will be spoiled. So now you've been warned. So I don't want to hear anybody complain. All right. So where do we start here? Devilman Crybaby is a Netflix anime.
It's a Netflix anime.
Yep.
It's directed by Yuasa, which is quickly becoming most likely my favorite anime director.
Same.
To date. Like everything he's done to me has been amazing, including I recently met up with one of the mods of our Discord, and BCom and I went to go see his movie Mind Game in the theater here in New York. Amazing. Ping pong animation is amazing. And then Devilman Crybaby will be the third, I think the third or fourth thing from his that I've watched.
Have you seen Tatami Galaxy?
Yeah, that's why I said third or fourth. I've definitely seen Tatami Galaxy before.
It was a program, man. Did you hear him say it?
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I heard ping pong. My bad.
It's okay. So expectation-wise, when I saw it was him directing it, and I saw it was Netflix, and I looked at the trailer to see what the animation is, I could tell that he was going to stay consistent to his style, and so that's had my expectation kind of high for the show because I'm expecting it to be good. So did you guys have any expectation for the show before you started it?
I expected it to be hideously violent, and that was about all.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've ever heard of Devilman Crybaby before, or Devilman, sorry, before going into this. That it was ultra violent.
Ultra.
A lot of sex.
I guess that is something to note, that this show is
heavy warning.
Devilman is not a new IP. As you can tell, Mitsuki and Mandy have seen the old Devil.
Yep.
I have not. So
I haven't seen the old one.
Oh, okay. So
I just knew
Mitsuki
about
has.
it.
Right. So I also just know about it. So I also expected some crazy violence. And I guess we can transition to the first few episodes through that lens because
no shit.
Episode 1, if you didn't have any context to this, like it takes you down a fucking ride. Episode 1. Okay, I guess backdrop is in this world, and I think I talked about this. I'm the one that passed it back in the impressions of spring, I think, or fall. I forget. But
Isn't this winter?
Was it winter?
I thought it was winter.
I don't remember. I think it was.
I think it was
winter.
winter, actually. Yeah. Winter 2018. Right.
Yeah, because
that's when it started.
Yeah, because we're done with fall now. We're on.
Right. Yeah. So in this world, demons live in the same world as humans here on Earth. And in recent time, at parties called the Sabbath parties, they're like rave parties. There have been more and more incidents of demons possessing humans. Most of the time, demons fully possess them, and humans don't have the willpower or the heart to maintain themselves after they're possessed. Except for this one time where the main character, Akira Fudo, is taken by his friend Ryo to a Sabbath. And at the Sabbath, Ryo enacts this plan to get Akira to be possessed, and it works. And Akira is possessed by the demon Amon, which is probably one of the champions of hell. And because Akira Fudo is, and they set this up in the first episode, he has a heart. He's very empathetic.
Crybaby.
Yeah, he feels a lot for people. He has a lot of empathy. So I meant to say. So his heart is able to overcome the demons, and so he's able to control his demonic powers, but not at first. So at this rave, he literally slaughters everyone, And before the rave and before the slaughtering, the rave itself is ridiculous. It's people having sex all over the place.
Everywhere. Yeah.
People taking drugs all over the place. People taking drugs while having sex. There's boobs. There's nothing censored. Boobs, penises, butts, all happening. All of it, just straight up in the show. And then he slaughters everybody because he gets possessed by the demon. So I want to know what you guys' initial reaction was to that kind of first episode.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
To that scene, really.
I was taken aback by the amount of sexual content that was in the episode. I wasn't really so much surprised by the violence, but I didn't expect there to be so much sexual content. I also didn't expect there to be so much like body morphing going on in that episode. Yeah. However, I have shown that scene to a few people now, and every person failed to have the reaction that I expected. And I showed it to my mother, right? Because I thought I could get a good reaction out of her recording.
Right.
She didn't really flinch at it. I showed it to my girlfriend, and she didn't flinch at it. And she said it's because the art style isn't very realistic looking, and so they don't. It doesn't. Even though it's like it should be hideously violent, it isn't as bad as it could be, because the characters or the animation style is such that they don't feel like real people, you know. Like I feel like there are scenes in the original Devilman that are a lot more difficult to watch because it looks a lot more like, you know, like a show like Monster or something would be drawn with more realistic people.
Right.
So it's a lot more graphic, and that isn't what's going on in this scene.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to touch on Iwasa's art style real quick. Is that this is like the art style that it's pretty consistent throughout all of his work.
Totally.
It has a very fresh feel to it. It's very unique, but it doesn't look overly realistic at all. It's very like he's loads of vibrant colors. A lot of the blood isn't red. It's like all kinds of different colors, from like green, yellow, purple, and so I think he was a perfect match for this new adaptation, because I feel like his art style took a lot of the edge off of it, and I liked it a lot more because of that. And I think if somebody else had directed it, I don't know if I would have liked it as much as I did. I felt like it worked very well.
Totally, and I really agree, because his style it's pretty off model, so it's not like the way bodies move in his art aren't always like anatomically correct. Is that anatomically correct? So because of that, I agree, and I didn't think of that until now, until you hit me. But that is why that first rave scene doesn't really take me aback that much either, because even though I realize like, holy shit, like this is anime, like this is so far off from like most, like the line that a lot of anime don't cross. But because the way bodies move under his direction is so off model, you can tell that the way he's making the bodies move is an exaggeration on purpose to like really emphasize like this is some crazy shit going on at this rave. So his art
style also leaves a lot of like amazing expressions on people. It's very expressive, and I like the motion that he does, and like running. I love running animations a lot too. So yeah, I definitely think that his art style is a good match for this, because it definitely took a lot of the edge off of it, and yeah, and a lot of the monsters look really cool too, like in the rave.
Yeah,
like absolutely. I love the body horror in this. I
love the gore porn in this.
Very imaginative.
It's like very tasteful. It's like a very tasteful type of gore porn for sure. But yeah, so I guess that's a really good discussion on the art really quick, because I think the art is key in this show, and in every moment.
It won't be for everybody.
Huh?
I was gonna say it's not going to be for everybody though. Just throwing that out there.
Definitely not. It's just like the way Yuasa does his things. It's just like when you go to an art gallery and you're just like, what the hell? Like, why is this in an art gallery? It's very much that feel. Like he makes choices that are not considered standard constantly. He constantly is making choices that are just like, why would you animate that way? Like, why? But yeah. So, but that's why I like him. That's why I think he's like you said, Mandy. It's a really good fit for this show.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of crazy shit look like not that insane because the animation alone is already exaggerated.
And the story's already extremely heavy already, that it definitely helped alleviate it a little bit.
Yeah. So since you mentioned story, I wanted to get a sense of what you guys thought about the overall plot, because my initial reaction was like, okay, this is like a pretty good setup. I thought it got kind of convoluted towards the end a little bit, without like any real, like showing of like of what all these like underlying things going on were. And I don't like being narrated to, and that's kind of what Rio does for us. He like narrates all of like the prequel stuff happening to what's going to happen to what is happening.
That's a good point.
I don't like that. I don't like that as a technique. I like being shown, not narrated to. But I think I liked it enough, and I liked the characters a lot. I think I liked every single character a lot, actually, including the main character.
Around episode 8, I realized that this anime didn't have much of a story, and I was okay with that because, as I said, I've changed my reviewing style lately to be more of, did I just enjoy it? Or was I bored during it? Like, I guess it's kind of the same thing. It hadn't bothered me because up until episode 8, I enjoyed pretty much every episode.
Yeah.
And there's always something interesting or something ridiculous or crazy happening. And so I was never bored during this anime. But I realized that this anime didn't have much of a story around episode 8. And then they basically throw all of it at you right at the end. And
100%.
It left me feeling like this anime really needed about 2 more episodes.
I think so. And
then I thought about Netflix, and it seems like a lot of Netflix's stuff, they seem to love the number 10. I don't know why, but they do. A lot of their like TV series seem to be 10 episodes for some reason. It needed 2 more episodes, and because I think the ending felt very rushed. But the ending did have a plot twist that I'm sure we'll get to in a bit, that I'm not great at predicting plot twists. There's always that obnoxious person that's like, I knew that by episode 2. I knew that was going to happen. And I just want to like punch you in the face or the throat. But I didn't pick that up. I didn't pick up the plot twist. And I think it's better for me that way, because if you're one of those people that spends the whole anime trying to guess the ending, then it's like, well, you're never going to enjoy anything. So, but even with the plot twist, they rushed it. The ending was rushed. The story was not strong.
So I might take a minute to sort out my thoughts, because when I first watched the series, I finished it and I had to take a bit of time to digest it because I wasn't sure how I felt about the ending overall. And I slowly started to realize, thinking about it, that I think I actually really enjoyed the ending, because I feel like the overall story had a message that some parts were heavy-handed. You could definitely tell what the message they were trying to feed to you was. But at a glance, when just on the surface, it feels like a very edgy, nihilistic view on humanity, this overall story.
I agree.
However, in the end, that wasn't the message that I took away from it. I don't think that was the message he was trying to say. I feel like the entire thing was fighting against the concepts of nihilism. Because from the very first scene, you see the large difference between Akira and Rio. Akira is full of compassion, empathy, crying over a dying kitten. And Rio lacks empathy and understanding, believing the weak should just hurry up and die. So that's what he wants to do, is kill the kitten. So, and sorry, I'm going to start throwing out spoilers. Apologize for that, but you've been warned. So the 2 characters throughout the entire story cling to these 2 beliefs. Rio callously turns to his friend into a devil man. Akira continues to have compassion even after becoming the demon. And even when Akira experiences his demonic, explosive desires for violence and sex, he still continues to believe in the good of humanity and fight for them.
Yep.
So once humanity is aware of the existence of devil, the ugly side of humanity starts to shine through. And this is where you start feeling like there's a big, strong message about bigotry in this. It's fear about humans turning into... Their fear turns humans into monsters themselves. They're worse than the demons, capable of horrific acts. And despite that, you still see some signs of good people in there whose small acts of kindness do make a difference, like the rappers helping Miki or Devilman standing up to the mob. Like, when he's standing up and then they all like come up and hug him because he refused to back down. And they managed to touch us around them, and it does make a difference. And I feel like the entire story is fighting against nihilism and the concept that all humans are terrible. And I felt like it really started to push that towards the ending. And that's why I had a lot of thoughts on the ending.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, finish.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm sorry. I had a lot. I think I warned somebody before this. I was like, I have a lot of thoughts on the ending. But after it's revealed that Rio is... Giant spoiler warning.
This is like this is the biggest spoiler.
Yeah, this is going to be a big spoiler, but I feel like it has to be talked about in order to talk about
the entire story is at the end. So
yeah. So when it's finally revealed that Rio is actually Satan, and Rio tries to bring Akira over to his side, because Satan believes humans are weak and desires to destroy them all so that demons can rule the world. And perhaps with Akira's help and with the other Devilmen, because there are other Devilmen in the series who do retain their kindness, perhaps with them he could fight off God. But Akira refuses him because he still believes in the good of mankind, stands up against his best friend. And we see images of child Akira trying to hand a baton off to Rio over and over and over, and each time Rio drops it, he lets it fall to the ground. And I feel like these images are telling us that this is a cycle. This is constantly happening. Satan and Rio are doomed to repeat this cycle for eternity, because he will always be reborn, make friends, fail to install his beliefs into the mind of his friend, and then watches the world destroyed by God.
Yeah.
And that's his punishment.
Yeah, and that's his punishment. And I think the underlying theme there is because love will prevail.
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's like the moral of the story that I took away, is that through everything, like love prevails, and I think it's shown when at the end. Also, I mean, I'm not gonna say it again, but spoilers. But like at the end when Rio deals the finishing blow to Akira, right, and Akira is laying there dead next to him. And then Rio starts crying for the first time, and I guess forever, because he's like, I don't know what these feelings are. It's because like Rio, naively, Satan is like is lonely, and he just wants, and he's been able to do all these things because no matter what, he's always had the love of Akira, and he's never put that together until the end, where he's like, fuck, I'm alone and I feel so lonely. Because he never realized, like, maybe had I just dipped into the concept of love and promoting love with everyone, maybe things will turn out differently.
I also feel like, in the end, his nihilistic views were a failure. Because we feel like, in the end, evil won. But I don't think that's true. I feel like humanity did win because they failed to let Satan destroy God. Because in the end, he's left completely alone. His best friend's dead, the demons are gone, humanity's destroyed. All I can do is sit and watch as God destroys the world and resets it.
Yep.
And then, although humanity did perish in the way, we still kind of won. And the overall message, I feel, is that humans are capable of horrific and atrocious acts, but we should never give up on them. And in the end, nihilism.
I mean, I sort of feel like in the end is very tragic. And
very.
And I understand the viewpoints about nihilism and everything and all of that. But to me, there is no winner. Like, I feel like Satan cast his influence over humanity, and used a very powerful emotion like fear to, what is the word? He used a lot of subterfuge to sort of get into the minds of humanity, and that destroyed the world before God did, and
100%.
But in God just choosing to erase the world and start over, I mean, you can almost look at it as, this is very philosophical, but you can almost look at it as God is also giving up. Like, he gave up on the world. Rather than try to restore the world or cure humanity or quell the fear, he just gives up and destroys it and rebuilds the world and gives up and starts over. And so I think that there's like maybe a message in there about the fragility of mankind, but like I don't feel like the message is all that happy at the end. I don't feel like I don't feel like humanity won or humanity defeated Satan. I feel like nobody wins. Nobody won here. Satan failed because he couldn't fully control the hearts and minds of all the humans. There were still humans that could not be overtaken by him, and that was his undoing. He needed the power of those most powerful humans to help fight against God, and he didn't receive that. And humanity lost because they lost themselves, and they destroyed the world far before God did, and God gave up on them and destroyed the planet and created it anew. And I think the baton is, it's very much like a Higurashi no Nakukoto ni type repeating of the cycle over and over again. Like, how many times have we done this? I don't know. But nobody wins here. Everybody lost. Perhaps maybe only the Devilman win, because at least they fought for their ideals in a battle that they had that they couldn't win to begin with. But in the end, they still failed to save humanity. And so humanity...
I didn't mean win, like, ultimate win. Of course they all died, but I still feel like Satan didn't win in the end. He still lost, in a way.
Absolutely.
He's alone. Yeah.
Absolutely, he lost, yeah.
And the reason I don't think you're wrong at all. I think I'm finding myself agreeing with a lot of what you're saying, but in the end, the reason why I think love being the prevailing force in a lot of this is still a huge takeaway is because, like, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but this is something that I found really strange is when you think about it, Akira, Miko, not Miki, Miko, and the other guy that are like the primary examples of Devilmen that survived. Yeah, Koda. So they are all people that loved a lot. So Akira was just a very empathetic person. Miko loved Miki truly as a really great friend, and Kudo loved the guy that he was in love with, that died at that rave that he was at with him. So I thought it was interesting how they were the three that survived their possession with full control of their power of the people that are introduced to us on the show. And then also, I think it was emphasized when Miki is riding on Miko's back on that chase scene, and all Miko keeps saying is, I love you, I love you, I love you. I think that's why, like, to me, the concept of love kept being kind of like pushed forward till the end, especially when, like I said before, when Satan is like, I feel like through his narration, he kind of just realizes that he's like, oh fuck, I fucked up, I'm all alone.
Yeah.
And I can't. Maybe I focused on the wrong thing. Like, that's how it sounded to me. I think he feels regret for the way he did it, for the way he enacted his plan. So
yeah,
it's a very interesting ending.
I think the whole show is the ending, right? I think you have to look at what is Satan's objective here. Is the objective to conquer the world and undermine humanity, or is the objective to defeat God? And because I feel like he succeeded in undermining humanity, that's for sure. I mean, humanity.
Because I thought his objective was to destroy humans and God, so that demons could just have the world.
Yes, I think it was to defeat God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know what? God seems so powerful in this anime that I wonder, like, what could Akira, being easily dispatched by Satan at the end of this anime, what was he supposed to do? As God rains down his, like, rays of light that just evaporates the earth and turns it into a glowing ball of ash. Like, what are they supposed to do against that?
Well,
like, what I wonder.
Yeah, and I also agree, because I found myself thinking, like, why, like who the fuck was Akira with Amon's power to even give you the thought he could be God? But I think that wasn't his plan. I think his plan was to have Akira help him, like Mandy said, gather all the Devilmen to fight with him on Satan's side. And then that's why in the moment where Akira's like, I'm going to be the Devilman that brings all the demons together to fix this, Rio is like, no, that's not part of the plan. It's not part of the plan. And that's what puts him back into shock to start remembering that he is Satan. Remember, there's that scene where he's just like, no, that's not part of the plan. Like, you can't go do that.
Yeah.
You can't go do that. It's not part of my plan. And then that's where, I think that's the episode where Rio's like, I got to go back to Peru. I got to go back to, like, where I think I came from to get my shit together. He's just like, oh shit, I'm Satan. And I remember.
Yeah, because I think he had his memories of being Satan locked away. And then I think it was Psycho Jenny who unlocked them. So then he remembered that he was actually Satan. But Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Overall, I really enjoyed this show.
Yeah, I
a
mean,
lot.
there was no point in it where I was dissatisfied. I was worried about it around episode 8 when they still hadn't done much with it, with like the story progression. I mean, up until episode 8, the story is there are demons among us and humanity's unraveling. Like that's the story.
Right.
But like, so I was worried about at that point because I didn't know where they were going with it, and I'm like, well, they got 2 episodes to do an awful hell of a lot, and they rushed the ending. I feel like they really did.
They did. They really did. I think they did too. Unfortunately, they definitely did.
Definitely, like my main criticism. I feel like it needed an extra episode because it felt like it jumped into the shit hit the fan way too quickly. Felt like it jumped.
It was hyperdrive
into the apocalypse in like a second, and I was like, ooh. I kind of wanted just a little bit of a longer transition into that, but
for sure. Yeah, so yeah, I also think the story was really rushed near the end. But you know what? Like everything before that though was pretty good. I thought probably the most heart-wrenching moment was Miki's father finding his son eating his wife and, and his mother.
Watching him grapple.
Yeah, and then watching him, like they gave this man like 30 whole seconds of just seeing his mental state deteriorate to the point where he like brings out a gun to consider shooting his kid, which is now a demon eating his wife. Like that was so intense. That was so intense.
And that's actually a really important moment in the anime because that man who, by the way, finally and accurately depicted a foreigner. By the way,
yeah, for real.
Thank you for that. This man, a very religious man, is watching his son consume his wife, a small boy who's like, I'm going to put him at like 6. A small boy of about 6 years old or whatever is literally in demon form eating his wife in front of him. And this man is cracking, and you're watching him unravel. And as he's doing it, he's trying to decide, this is balancing act going on of will I or will I not succumb to Satan's plan? And because this man is a very religious man, and that's an obvious point throughout the whole show as they pray at dinner and whatnot. So there's Satan. You can almost call the man God in a way, and then as he fights to sort of either succumb to Satan, which I think would be shooting them both and killing them, or not, which is overcoming Satan's plan and maintaining remaining clandestine or whatever you want to call it. The man doesn't yield to it. Now whether he will or not, we don't know because a bunch of army soldiers come in and mow them down. But the man several times fights off the urge to just succumb and kill them. And
including saying no, don't shoot to the officers.
Yes, exactly. And I think that is in a nutshell, a very symbolic moment of the balancing act that this anime is, of humanity. And you can almost put that man in the same group as the Devilman. I think he's in the same group in terms of someone that was not able to be overcome by, the lies of Satan or whatever he was saying at the dinner table. I think they even talked about this. They literally talked about it at the dinner table, I think, had this conversation. So there's a great deal of symbolism in this show, and
there's a lot. And I feel like there's a lot of biblical symbolism too. There's so much to unpack. I feel like there's a lot of different messages you could take away.
And I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen an anime in a long time that I thought had like concrete symbolism in it. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time for sure.
I miss the days of like Habane Renmei, where I'm like, this is about purgatory. Oh my god,
where it should mean something, right?
Like this means something. Like they're telling you something. Like the days of like classic literature, where the bare naked light bulb in A Streetcar Named Desire has a theme and a meaning to it.
Yeah.
Where like water is classically like purifying. Like all these different things that like mean things in literature. We don't get that a lot anymore, and so I'm happy to see it. I'm sad that it has to be a Netflix anime that does it because. It's like, oh, well, the only way we're ever going to get an anime that has like any kind of depth to it is if Netflix does it, to their credit. But like that makes me sad. Everything else is horse girls, pretty derby, and garbage crap that has no substance to it whatsoever. No offense to those people who like horse girl, pretty derby. But yeah, I'm happy to see it, and again, I'm sorry. This is another checkbox in the positive column for Netflix. It really is.
It really
Yet
is.
again,
Dude. This anime is a huge check for Netflix for sure.
they're like 10 out of 10 so far. By the way, are there any bad Netflix shows lately?
The only two I haven't tried are like Be the Beginning and one other one.
I haven't seen that, but the one with the moving island thing was good.
Yeah, not bad.
Apparently, Violet Evergarden's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes.
Apparently, that's good. The Gene's good. Sidonia was good. All these shows are good. So, man, keep it coming. Yeah.
So I guess since we touch about all like the main points of the story, I want to touch on a few things that I really enjoyed about the show. First of all, I think all the characters in the show were very good. They all like made sense in the context. I don't think any of them turned out to be like a character that's written one way at the start and then one way in the other. I think they're all pretty consistent. I loved Miki. I loved her. I loved Miki in the show. It's a shame her fate in the show is not what I wanted for her. But
horrible! Oh my god,
horrible!
What a
horrible
rough scene that is.
Yeah, that and you know what? Like, because anime doesn't always take that leap, I didn't see it coming. Like, I did not expect it. I did not expect her to go off like that. But
you know what? I just say
subverting your expectation for sure.
This anime had balls like I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, for
big
sure.
big man balls.
Big balls for sure.
Yeah.
But so then I want to talk about music in this show.
Oh, it's great.
Super fun, super good. Like all the EDM stuff from the electronic stuff from the OP throughout the show to the beautiful piano music when they show Rio and Akira in their childhood to the hip hop the hip hop trio, the rapper dudes. Here's why I love them in this show. Here's why. Not only are they spitting bars that are really the flow and phonetically are really interesting in terms of hip hop and how you phrase your bars and everything, but what I realize is that they are the classic Greek theater technique of a choir. Well, where in old Greek plays, you have a choir that introduces the plot, you have a choir that comes in after major events to summarize what's happening, and then at the end you have a choir come in to sing to you what the moral of the story is. So in episodes, I think it was like 1, 3, and 7 or 8, they always come in to like talk about like this is the current world, and here's what the world looks like after what's happened. So like I think that was like low-key the most like English major literature thing I took away. I was like, oh shit, Yuasa's like throwing in some Greek theater stuff. Like that's really interesting. So I loved all those things about the show. Again, animation, Yuasa doesn't let you down. The colors in the show are not usual colors. They're from palettes you don't see in anime a lot. So I just really enjoyed like the whole package. This show's a whole package is what I call it. It's a whole package.
Yeah,
you get everything in the show for sure.
This anime has 48 tracks. The soundtrack is 1 hour and 35 minutes long. I'm looking at it right here.
It's great
I mean,
too.
That's a chunk of change right there. And some of this is like orchestral work. There's the one theme that I loved the most was it's like when they're battling and then they tended to use it at the credits. It's like the epic like sweeping orchestral music that they play, and then the credits usually roll when they're playing it because it seems like something badass is always happening at the end of every episode. That I don't know if you recall what the theme I'm referring to, but I could probably sing it for you if you want. But it's that piece really moved me. Every time I heard it, I was like, this is like a high quality piece of music here. Like this is a unique theme that was written by somebody with talent, and like how I appreciate that. I mean, that's good stuff. Wow. Devilman. And Devilman, by the way, looks like a fucking badass.
Yo, he does. I love the way he looks. I love the way he looks.
So,
yeah, apparently becoming a demon turns you hot.
Yeah, apparently. And makes you have a lot of semen.
Oh my god, that scene where he like has a wet dream and his semen is on the roof of over
just
his
like
bed.
covering. It looks like a Ghostbusters.
So ridiculous.
it's like a Ghostbusters proton pack just spray it all over the ceiling. Ghostbusters.
I was like, dude, he just fucking squirted half his roof. Holy fuck. Half his ceiling.
Yeah.
But are you guys ready to
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready.
I'll be quick. I think this anime is almost perfect except for the rushed ending. To be honest. I don't know how much money they spent on this soundtrack, but I have a feeling that it's probably like 10 to 20 times the amount of money they spend on a normal anime soundtrack, which is like, oh, I'm gonna pay you a couple of dollars to borrow some song that's just from some artist's soundtrack. Like they didn't even make it. Like most of the time nowadays, they don't even make a unique soundtrack for a show. They just take like some Nanamizuki song or some like idol song and put it in there. This is not the case with this show. But I can't give it a perfect score. The ending is rushed. I think it needed 2 more episodes. But it's an easy 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 heads on a spike out of 5.
Oh my god! That scene was so dark, dude.
It was insanely dark and very tribal. Like them dancing around with the heads on the spikes and with the flames in the background looked an awful lot like a scene you'd see like from like the Lord of the Flies or something. Like very tribal and wild. Like
it reduced those humans down to their most primitive state.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shows you what fear can do to people.
This is almost worth a 5, even with the rushed ending. To be honest, there's so many incredible things to be said about it.
All right.
I want to go last because I'm still thinking.
You want to go last? Okay. Yeah. So I echo pretty much everything Mitsuki said. I like it was when the episode 10 ended. My fan gut reaction was like, this is a 10. But unfortunately, like, I just like it's so unfortunate because I'm sure Yuasa like knew he only had 10 episodes, that he just had to make it work. So, and I think with that restriction, this anime does so much that I feel like a lot of people out there making anime just like forgot you could do. I think it's important that a director like Yuasa exists because what he does is tell you like, hey, listen, like I'm using the same medium you're using, but look at where I'm pushing this envelope. Like you can do all this in the same medium. We don't have to have the same character models all the time. And I think it's really important. We don't have to have the same type of story. We don't have to have the same type of love going on. Like Akira Fudo loves Miki, but that never comes to fruition in the show, and that's okay. Like that's okay. Like it only impacts him because like he cares about her, but that's it. You don't have to make it a lovey-dovey story just because it's a love interest in the show. This anime is important for that reason. Like I think it subverts a lot of like anime is supposed to usually go this way, but he goes no. I will take anime and what usually happens, but I'll give it my twist, which is important to do when you're making art, is to leave your twist, just to put your mark on something. So he also consistently is always doing that, and I'm glad that he didn't drop the ball on this one. He actually did a really good job. The entire staff did a good job. All the animators, all the music engineers. Yeah, I really love the show. It's a shame that they rushed the ending because you can't give it a perfect score objectively for that. I would argue a 9.75 on this one. So, but in terms of like the 5 scale,
yeah, we don't do that, my friend.
4.5. Yeah, I'll do a 4.5. Yeah. 4.5, 4.5 demon heads being shredded off their bodies by Devilman. Out of 5.
Overall, I really enjoyed the series. I just enjoy Yuasa overall, and I haven't been disappointed yet by anything that he's done. I will say that this isn't for everybody, and that's okay. If you can't handle this kind of level of violence and sex, I don't blame you, but if you can, I think there's a lot to take away from it. I feel like it's a good watch.
I mean, it's needed for the story.
Definitely. It's definitely needed for what story they're trying to tell. And for my criticism, I definitely think that the ending was rushed and needed an extra episode to kind of spread it out a little bit. Also, I can't take credit for this because I think someone on Discord said it, but sometimes I can't tell if what you also drew is like on purpose or if it really is actually just bad. So there's that sometimes. Sometimes the proportions get a little insane, but
yeah, I feel that. It's a choice though. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Though.
Sometimes, especially with hands, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and yeah, I was bouncing between a 4 and a 4.5, and I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
All right, we're all in agreement.
Yep,
it's a really damn good anime. It's
yeah, I'm gonna miss watching it. That's how I feel, you know, like
music's fantastic.
Oh, it's
so much fun.
The music is that orchestral piece is friggin' incredible.
I'm so happy I passed this because this was like the first.
Who told you that you should put it on your list, Enzo?
Me?
Yeah, who told you that you should put it on your?
Oh yeah,
list?
you guys did. Yeah.
I said, hey Enzo, you should definitely. No one had Devilman. I was like, Enzo, you should put Devilman on your list.
That was my first time picking shows, and none of you guys had Devilman on there. So after being shown Devilman by I think you, Mandy, BCom, and Mason, I was like, whoa, I gotta put this one on there, and I'm glad you guys showed me it.
So yeah, 4.5 sexy spider ladies.
Ooh.
Ooh, I liked her a lot.
In my defense, there was no way I was gonna let this not be picked, but because you had it high on your list, I don't think I bothered. Did my tablet die or is it just asleep?
Classic tablet.
Classic tablet. So how about that Devilman?
So yeah.
That Devilman was so good, dude.
Human.
I'm gonna watch literally everything Yuasa ever does. I have to.
Do you wanna watch Night is Young, Walk On Girl with me?
I would love to, but they're screening it here in New York. In July, so I'm waiting for that. And they're also screening.
Watch it by myself.
They're also screening Lou Over the Wall. Also, so I'm watching those two in the movie theater.
The orchestral theme I'm referring to is the one that goes like.
Yeah, I know that one.
It's God, the tablet's dead. So let's do some mailbags. All right.
Yeah.
So if you want to submit a mailbag, you can do it on our website, www.AAAPodcast.com. There's a button on the top that says mailbags, and you just click it and you write whatever you want. So the first mailbag is from Yotodi Vegeta, and he writes, it seems that every manga artist has an avatar. For example, Gintama's author has the avatar of a dumb gorilla. So what would the animal / creature / whatever that would represent the AAA hosts?
Oh, this is such a cute question.
I want to be a Maine Coon kitten wearing a Pope hat.
I want to be a sassy fox. I love foxes. They're my favorite animal.
I would be a panda wearing a beanie and glasses.
We've already determined that you're a peacock.
Okay, fine. I'll be a peacock.
I'm just kidding.
That's weird. Kazuo's
I bumped my mic. I'm sorry.
Kazuo's a possum. He's not here.
Kazuo wants to be an otter.
Well, otters aren't very.
But now he's a possum.
Kazuo probably wouldn't want to be an otter if he knew how they have sex.
Yeah.
Because
otters are mean. They're cute though.
They're known to basically known to rape and kill other animals.
Yeah.
While having sex with them. So, great.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd be a little panda or a little bear.
Next mailbag.
The next mailbag is by 7stars7. Great show / podcast. I really enjoy listening to your takes on various anime and of course the topics that you discuss. My question to you as hosts in which anime setting / world / story would be your anime hell?
Oh shit.
For me, I said Berserk, not because I think Berserk is bad, but because I would instantly die in that world, and I don't want to live there. So, that would be my hell.
I can't think of... Yeah, it would probably be like a Berserk-ish world too, because I don't have the effort for that. No way.
For me, it's Lucky Star. So
why's that?
Well,
did you have to ask?
I mean,
no, I don't. I know.
I mean, who do you think you are anyway?
He is the Pope.
He is the Pope. Sorry for questioning your powers.
My only fear is that we wouldn't have enough shovels to dig the damn hole deep enough to bury all of their tiny little bodies after we're done with them. That's right. I said it.
All right. Next question is from Icy Rose. He says, "Hello again, AAA host. I had a discussion with another user on Discord a while back on how they didn't really like a certain anime series, but agree that one of the character arcs of the sides of that agreed that in that anime one of the character arcs was one of the best character arcs they'd seen in an anime. It was just a shame that they hated the rest of the story. Has there ever been an anime you didn't really care for overall that had a beautiful what am I reading? But had a handful of characters that you really liked and felt that they were too good for the anime they were in?" I butchered that. Wow.
For me, it's Fairy Tail because I'm not a fan of Fairy Tail, but I do love Urza. I think Urza is a lot of fun, and I've seen a good chunk of it. But yeah,
I've said this a lot of times, but I think that the Future Trunks section of Dragon Ball is way too good for Dragon Ball. It's actually so good that it's out of place. Whereas I would say most of Dragon Ball is like, I don't know, a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. It's just, it's a shonen fighting show. As much as my nostalgia wants it to be a 10, it just isn't. But the Future Trunks OVA is like really good. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I'd probably give it an 8. So it's so out of place. There's a lot of like depth to Trunks' story, like the backstory. Trunks gets a lot of backstory in Dragon Ball, and the other characters really don't. Like, you don't know shit about Krillin. Nothing. You know nothing. Where did Krillin come from? I don't know. He has no backstory whatsoever. Goku has a little bit. Like, Grandpa Gohan found him in a space pod. That's about all. Or like Tien, Yamcha. These characters don't have any history to them, but Future Trunks does. Like, there's a whole section of episodes about him, an OVA. He comes back in Dragon Ball Super. There's more. I mean, he gets more backstory maybe than every other character put together in Dragon Ball. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, for me, not that I don't care about Naruto, but like I don't care. Like Naruto's great, but I don't live for that anime or anything. Zabuza, I think is super fucking cool, and I wish I knew more about him. I think he was like too good for their first villain. Like he outshines the main cast too much because he's a bad guy but with a heart, and that's like hard to outshine when you're just like the new heroes of a story. So yeah.
Mailbag by Sod and Steak. Hey, AAAPodcast. Seeing as how FM or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood's live action was unsurprisingly a flop, my question is, what are some problems anime face when they transition to live action, and do you think there will ever be a good live action anime film? P.S. I've been listening to you guys for about 3 months now. There really is no podcast that is more perfect than this one. Keep up the amazing work.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you. I think the problem that a lot of the transition faces is that anime is, animated and illustrated, so there's no budget restriction aside from like the artist's time. So you can have every fight scene in anime can be made to look like the best fight scene ever because you can draw it that way, and like you don't have to worry about an actor not executing a line correctly because you'll always have the best facial expression you can possibly make, and a voice actor can try many times without having to worry about his own facial expression while giving that. Well, I mean, most voice actors will like act out what they're saying, but like they don't have to worry about their face being on camera. So I think a lot of transition is because the anime is just so not based in reality. Most of the time, like the ones that get adapted most of the time, that it just costs. It costs. The word cost is important there. It's money. There's not enough money out there in the world.
I think
a movie that looks that like good enough to get you. Like the closer you're gonna get with money wise is probably Ghost in the Shell, but even then you're just like, fuck.
I think another big thing is condensing stories, because anime have a lot of them have really long series. Condensing it down in 2 hours can be a big issue when you're trying to cut out major points, and you're also trying to make it more mainstream because you want to make more money. So a lot of things about anime, you're trying to get people who aren't not just watching the anime, you're trying to get people who haven't seen the anime too. There are a lot of things. That's not just anime that has this issue too. It's, I mean, action or adaptations of video games too have this problem. Like Warcraft trying to make it to a giant broad audience of people who have never played Warcraft, and it just didn't work out well because there was a lot of story and history in it, and I think feel like a lot with anime as well. But yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we did it. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
We did it.
Well, it was a little bit over.
Yeah, just a bit. All right, guys. If you want to contribute to the podcast and get like more podcast episodes, more hours of podcast episodes than the entire series of One Piece that are exclusive only to you, you can go to our website, www.AAAPodcast.com/join. We do our hentai episodes, which is where all the crazy naughty stuff happens. We're going to do one of those in a few minutes. We got our Hobby Addicts, where we talked about Deadpool 2 at the start of the show today. And we also do our after parties, which is where we just kind of shoot the shit after the show, and sometimes we get into pretty good or interesting conversations, or sometimes crazy things happen. You never know. So head over to the website for all that, and also to join the Discord page. So thank you for everybody who tuned in and watched live. It always adds a little bit of nice flair to the show to have a live audience.
Yeah.
And again, of course, thank you to all of you who listen from home also, because you guys are not to be forgotten. So,
of course, I hope your day is going well.
All right, we'll see you guys next time on the podcast. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.